ready to rumble.
What has become a December tradition of ours on the ISC Sports Network is a trip to an area that we call the region, also known as the Greater South Shore, like in the counties of Lake, LaPorte, and Porter counties that butt up against Lake Michigan just to the east and southeast of Chicago. A football-crazy region for sure. And after a year at Hammond Central High School, we are back at Hobart, one of the quintessential high school football programs in the state of Indiana. The stadium is the Brickyard, the matchup. Two great teams representing the Great Lakes Valley Conference, the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. It is Truman State and Tiffin, a rematch of this game from 2 seasons ago. Alongside Joe Polizzi, who played and coached at Hillsdale, longtime head coach at the University of Indianapolis. My name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you for joining us. And, Coach, your thoughts as this one is about ready to kick off.
I tell you what, it's just a fantastic December day to play football. You can't ask for a better opportunity. And as a Division II football player, nobody wants to put them away. You get another opportunity to line it up and play the great game, and it's going to be perfectly memorable forever.
All right, so with that, Truman and Tiffin played this game 2 years ago as a 1-point game. They played 3 times over the course of 2 seasons. The games were all decided by a grand total of 5 points. Truman finished at 6-2 in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Tiffin basically won their way into this game in the regular season finale when they defeated Findlay by a score of 37-14. Truman has won the opening kickoff. They have elected to defer. Tiffin will have the football first. And Joey, developing story. As weather goes, the first Saturday in December, this is not too bad for Northwest Indiana, but the winds have really picked up in the last hour or so.
Yeah, I'm looking at the American flags over here, and they are blowing crazy and in one direction, and that's always a factor. You got to just figure that into the game plan. These two teams are so evenly matched. As I looked at the stats and looked at the films, this is going to be one heck of a football game. Both very physical, both very athletic, and they want to pound each other for one more opportunity.
Well, for Truman, while the first name of the head coach has changed, the last name hasn't. It's Nesbitt. It's just Kellen and not Greg. But this team's identity is we're going to run the football until you can force us to do otherwise. Power, physical football, that's what Truman State is all about.
Very, very physical. The offensive line is humongous. They come off the football blocking schemes that I remember back from the 80s and the 90s where they're doubling down and pulling backside guard and tackle. It's just good old-fashioned, hard-nosed football. We're going to see a lot of that today, and it's going to be their physicality versus some speed and finesse that Tiffin will provide that's going to make this game exciting.
Let's see our officiating crew for today's contest. And so the wind is a southerly wind, which is basically right to left as you are watching this stadium on the ISC Sports Network. In terms of Tiffin, they'll have to go into that wind, the teeth of it, in quarter number 1. And while they can kind of move the football in a variety of ways, Alex Johnson, a transfer from the University of Washington, finding Jalen Thomas, who has 71 catches on the season. Again, if the weather conditions allow, this Tiffin team can most certainly air it out. And my guess is for the first of many times the ball blows off the tee in today's game.
There's going to be a guy out there permanently to hold that ball. But, yes, you're right. Tiffin can hurt you both ways. They've got a 1,000-yard rusher, a 1,000-yard receiver, and a big, strong quarterback that can make it happen.
Vinny Calvaruso will handle the kicking duties for Truman today. And he'll have a stiff breeze behind him. And this ball will make it to the goal line, but it's going to be brought back. Ronald Blackman, whose name we'll talk about a lot, top tailback for Tiffin. We'll bring it out to the 23-yard line. So, Alex Johnson, first team All-League in the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, has thrown for just shy of 2,300 yards. Blackman, his star tailback. Blackman, 229 carries, 1,385 yards, and 12 rushing touchdowns. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. That tight end, a very talented one, in Joey Zalewski, who has 5 rushing touchdowns in the season. And again, the offensive line, significant in terms of their size for the Dragons.
They block well. They come off the football well, and as we talked about earlier, they can hurt you in a number of ways.
It's a 4-man front being shown here by Truman. They'll blitz a 5th linebacker. A little wheel route. Good flanker screen set up by the Dragons. It's going to be a gain of 5 on the play. Sets up 2nd down and 5. And now let's focus on the defenders for Truman. Ben Miller catches your attention at 6'3 and 280 up front. Jake McCollum, we list him as a starter, but he is not here today for the best of reasons. He's married, and he and his wife are expecting any day now, so we will not see him in the lineup today for the Bulldogs of Truman. Look for Ulysses Ross IV to help pick up the slack at the linebacker position. 2nd and 5. Blitz coming. And that ball is tipped away. Great break on the ball. Defensively, knocking that ball away is Brock Jones, 3rd down.
Well, they do such a good job in that Bulldog secondary of taking away everything in a zone defense can take away. Good job there on the front side of the route. Quarterback went back to the backside and almost made a huge mistake.
That was Blackman that was the intended target out of the backfield. So 3rd down and 5 coming up here for Tiffin. Tiffin, as you see on your screen, 8-3 on the season. Truman went 7-4. Bulldogs lost their opening 3 games of the season and have rallied from that time. Bulldogs delayed blitz and just past the outstretched hands of the intended target. That was Javier Wills that could not bring it in. After a 5-yard pickup on 1st down, here comes the punt team on for Tiffin.
You know, one thing I noticed in watching some film of these guys, both teams, they play the kicking game so well. They're very physical. They're always in the right spots, and they put their top elite players in the kicking game, which says a lot about the coaching philosophy.
Joseph Wires, a 41-yard per kick average, but again, that's a 3-club win he's about to hit this into. So he tried to keep it loading, and look at that ball just hold up. Klosser with the grab on the fair catch. He'll make it at the 48-yard line, but that is just a 24-yard kick, and again, that's how significant that win currently is.
It sure is. What a huge advantage it was to get the football with the wind on your first possession. It's going to be a big factor, as you can see from those flags. It's just ripping down that left sideline.
So here's Dylan Hare, 2,200 yards passing on the season. Following footsteps of older brother Nolan, the former starting quarterback at Truman. And if you're the starting tailback for the Bulldogs, you're going to get a lot of work. Denham Cook, just shy of 1,000 yards rushing on the season, and on cue. Gets the handoff, 1st down, tripped up just shy of the 40-yard line. Malik Baker makes the tackle before Cook picks up 11 yards and a 1st down.
They are physical up front, and they like to they really like to run a lot of plays. They set up at the line of scrimmage and then come back to the huddle on this instance, but they will rattle off as many plays as possible as they have the momentum.
Jackson Overton, who was on your screen, still is. He is the leading receiving target. 40 catches for the redshirt freshman from O'Fallon, Missouri. We'll get to the Tiffin defense as soon as we can. 1st and 10 after an 11-yard pickup. And there was movement. Yep, when the defensive line shifted, right tackle flinched a little bit. And let's face it, it's been 3 weeks since these guys played a football game, Joe.
It's been 3 weeks, so they're raring to go. The last thing they want to do is get up there, break the huddle, get up there in a stance, and wait. They're ready to go, and that flinch on that movement there, expected.
1st and 15, but I'm not sure that's going to change the offense philosophy of Truman on this play. Again, they will run until you can prove you can stop them. We have seen them in this game have some significantly long drives. This is in the 5th playing of this contest. Is the 4th time they have been a factor in the bowl game. Hare will look to throw. Slings it, has a man. That's the tight end, Kerr. Again, Baker makes the tackle, but not before Kerr has it down inside of the 20-yard line, down to the 18. 1st down, Bulldogs.
Beautiful job on the route. They had a short, kind of a high-low stretch there. The corner jumped on the short route. And here's our man wide open, big, strong tight end down the numbers.
So Kerr, his 32nd catch of the season, 6'3" and 260 as a senior. Again, could be his last competitive football game he gets the chance to play.
What fun.
Bulldogs went 6-2 in the Great Lakes Valley Conference this year. UND again won the league, lost to Grand Valley State in the opening round of the Division II playoffs. Fake the jet sweep, Hare on the keeper. Hare will get a couple of yards, and that's it. Well played in terms of run support. That's Bangura on the tackle for Tiffin. And there's the starters. And of note, Chris Walton, 12 sacks, and he's a local product. He is from the area, so I'm sure this is a big day for him. Gio Albanese and Radical Rotherville. The big fellas up front, as there you see Walton featured on your screen. 2nd down and 8 after Hare with a gain of 2. Hare has over 500 yards rushing on the season and 4 touchdowns. This time it's Cook, and Cook dropped after a gain of 3, maybe 4. Chris Artis on the tackle. This Tiffin team, as you would expect, Northwest Ohio. A ton of Ohio natives when the high school football is as good as it is in the Buckeye State, there is no need to venture far out. I know in your coaching days at Hillsdale and UIndy, you loved living in Northwest Ohio as well.
We really did. Ohio is such a talent-rich state and so many college programs, but they have enough great talent to fill every program, every roster.
3rd down and 5. Hare looking, nowhere to go, gets dropped. Well, you referenced those sacks of Walton. He had help, but he got a piece of that one too. Loss on the play. Here comes the kicking team on for Truman.
Jumped in some man coverage, hugged him up tightly. He had to pat that ball, and that was just the deadline. The buzzer rang, and good pressure from up front.
Well, the honors
Dragon defense
are going to be shared that time. Zach McMinn gets half of that. Walton gets part of another sack as well. So here's Vinny Calvaruso. Calvaruso, 10 of 18, 42 yards his long. This with the win behind him from 38. Again, that win certainly helps and dials it in perfectly. Truman jumps out to an early 3-0 lead. Let's take this 30-second break as you're watching the 5th playing in the America's Crossroads Bowl here from Hobart on the ISC Sports Network.
Ready for an unforgettable adventure? Lake Michigan's South Shore is calling. No matter the season, the Indiana Dunes offer a natural playground where you can roam miles of scenic hiking and biking trails, build amazing sandcastles on sun-kissed beaches, or set off on an exciting wildlife treasure hunt. The South Shore is alive with quirky festivals, thrilling attractions, and family-friendly breweries and wineries just outside of Chicago. From winter sledding to summer splashing, the South Shore is your playground for unforgettable memories. Learn more at alongthesouthshore.com.
Back at Hobart High School, thanks to Mike Black and their great staff for being as friendly as they always are. And this is the 5th time this bowl game has been played, 4th time it has been played here. We have loved our trips here every time. And what you saw, 3 and out, drive the field, get a 3, that is vintage Truman football right there.
And it's almost mandatory on days like this when you have the wind at your back to get points on that series, and they came through.
Drive began at the 48-yard line, made it as far down the field as the 12. Calvaruso's kick, again returnable at the 5-yard line. Ronald Blackman will bring it across the field, finds a bit of space, and is tripped up at the 25-yard line. In both the Great Lakes Valley Conference and Great Midwest Athletic Conference that send teams to this bowl game, based in Indianapolis, that's despite the fact there's no Indiana member of the GMAC. Of course, the University of Indianapolis, a part of the GLVC. We've referenced they won the Football League in the GLVC this year. Ashland, who we saw in the bowl game last year, representing the GMAC in terms of the D2 playoffs this go-around. So 1st and 10 for the Dragons at their own 25-yard line. Left side, quick hitter. And again, much like the opening play of the first drive for Tiffin, solid 5-yard pickup. Will Jackson Linkert gets his 25th catch of the Dragons season.
That quick game is just a momentum establisher. They do like to run the football. We have not seen that yet, but the quick game is a great way to get a big, strong physical defense running laterally, and that's what you want to do, so you set them up for the run.
As much as last drive, 2nd down and 5. Same play, different player, similar result. Good enough to move the chains for a 1st down. Catch made that time by Jalen Thomas. Again, his 72nd grab of the season for the first team All-GMAC performer.
Great possession route, perfect delivery, moving those chains.
On the handoff, and Blackman kind of gets through that first wave of contact. He'll pick up 3, 2nd down and 7. Joe, both these teams could have taken as many as 15 practices, but to kind of give guys a break at the end of the season and around Thanksgiving, both teams took 7 or 8 practices to get that. What does that do for these squads going forward?
I think that there may be a little bit of rust, but you've got to give them a time off after that long season. 7 really should be enough to get you where you need to be.
What a great grab. Ball thrown a little bit behind Javier Wills, but he makes the grab into Truman territory at the 43-yard line.
Excellent play by the QB. Rolling to his left and throw it across the body on a beautiful strike.
Fake toss, 5-man rush. Wheel route down the sidelines, and what timing by Klosser. If we took a letter out of his last name, he might describe what he did that time. Closer. As he closed the gap, did Klosser. 2nd down and 10.
They overloaded that backside hash there and threw a seam route, perfectly played. He was in the middle of his zone, broke on the football. Great job on breaking that up.
We see that exceedingly well from the camera of Eldon Wheeler, who is a little bit lower than we normally would have him because of the wind today. And our all-22 camera there in the end zone. 2nd down and 10. Again, you've seen that same pass play, and might be a test of wills. How long you willing to give up that 5-yard hitch? How long you willing to take that 5-yard hitch if you're Tiffin?
Exactly. You wonder who's going to have the most patience here. How often can you throw it, and how soon before you go hitch and go on them?
So gain of 4, 3rd down and 6. And that is caught, but shy of the 1st down. And welcome to the first interesting call of this game. 4th and a yard from the 34-yard line. What do you think?
Well, I'm saying they go for it for sure. First of all, you're going to try to get him to jump.
So 4th and a yard. They will go for it. On the handoff, not going to get there. Not going to get there. The ball carrier that time was Nick Johnson for Tiffin. There was contact in the backfield, and Truman gets the stand at their own 35-yard line.
Good quickness, great penetration. That's the way to stop that. Missed a couple blocks.
Well, frankly, he just kind of got caught up in the wash, and it was Will Jackson Linkert was the player that he bumped into his own man. The Truman gets the stop, and they'll take over at their own 35. So Thomas Spalding celebrating. 5'11", 250-pounder, and all these GLVC schools, of which Truman is a part, all recruit the greater Chicago area. Spalding is a Chicago kid. So there are numerous, probably Truman friends and family here having a chance to see their kids play a little closer to home than normal.
Very, very football-rich area.
On the handoff. Again, after contact, 1st down and more. That's Cook. Running away from a tackler and taken out at the 31-yard line. A gain of 34.
That's their bread and butter right there, that counter trap, pulling the backside guard and tackle. Big hole, and he hit it hard. Physical offensive front.
Cook's first 2 carries went for 14 yards. Tack on several more here. So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs, the Dragons' 31-yard line. Truman playing in this game for a 4th time. The previous 3 times they've been here, they've won it. Beat Ohio Dominican in the first game in 2019, beat Joe's Hillsdale Chargers in 2021, and these Tiffin Dragons in 2022. Last year, Ashland beat McKendree to deliver the GMAC their first win. Fake the jet sweep. Hare will bounce it outside. He'll have a 1st down. Now racing for the pylon. I think he's just shy of it. Yep. I'm going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 2, but that is a gain of 34, followed by a gain of 29 down to the 2-yard line.
Excellent job of misdirection. Beautiful executing by the quarterback, and just the Tiffin Dragons were kind of head on the swivel, not knowing where that football was. Quite an athlete and a nice run.
By the way, Hare's longest gain of the season was from 50 yards away. Hare from Wardsville, Missouri, and his older brother Nolan, the former starting quarterback. Jumbo formation, toss play, Cook. He's short. He gets a yard. 2nd and goal from the 1.
Oh, but he knows he loves to run that play. See that shoulder pad level and hitting up on the rise. Give me another shot, Coach, he's saying. This is a nice physical offense.
Cook 5'9", 235 from Decatur, Illinois. A little bit further downstate. Of course, Decatur, Illinois, the original home of the Chicago Bears. They were the Decatur Staleys, and no, Joe and I were not around to broadcast those games back then. 2nd and short. Toss play, Cook. Cook into the pile. Touchdown. Crosses the goal line, and Truman has a 2-score lead, 9 minutes and 2 seconds in.
And they kept their packed alive. You got to score every time that wind is at your back. They are running the football. They're very, very physical, and they're executing perfectly.
As we advertised, Truman will run the ball first. 9 offensive snaps, 8 have been on the ground, and 1 29-yard completion. So Cal Varuso is on for the extra point try. He's had a couple of field goals blocked this year. Gets this one back, no problem at all. So 10-0, Truman in front. Tiffin gets the ball. When we come back to Hobart, you're watching the America's Crossroads Bowl on the ISC Sports Network.
Get ready to rock. The Hobart Art Theater is your ultimate destination for live music, comedy, and community events right here in Northwest Indiana. Feel the energy as national and local bands take the stage, setting the tone for a rockin' evening. And if you're craving some laughs, we've got you covered with stand-up comedy guaranteed to have you rolling in the aisles. So grab your crew, grab a drink, and get ready for a night of fun. To view an upcoming schedule of events, visit brickartlive.com.
This is one of 2 Division II bowl games that exist. 28 teams make the Division II playoffs, 7 teams in each of 4 regions. Even though these conferences butt up against each other, they go in different directions in terms of their regional play. The GLVC kind of goes north and west. The GMAC kind of goes off to the east. But if you're wondering about this bowl opportunity here, great chance for these teams to get one more game. And Truman, well, they're here so much, they may have to start paying property taxes in Northwest Indiana.
You know, that's a great thing to add to your program, knowing that, hey, we're going to get an opportunity to play in a bowl game. I think it's a fantastic idea. I wish more Division II schools and leagues would jump in on this.
Blackman at the 5, and then walloped at the 25. Progress stopped immediately. Shane Johnson says hello for the Bulldogs.
You know what? They have been like that all year long. Their kickoff team, you could tell they take great pride in it. And another thing I like to see is after they make that stop, not many of them came off the field. So they're putting their starters on that kickoff team, just knowing the value of that big hit and that momentum you get when you start that drive.
So ball at the 25-yard line. Couple of first downs in the last drive for the Dragons. It stopped at the Truman 35-yard line. Johnson 6 of 9, but pretty much in the short passing game for 44 yards. Handoff goes to Blackman, and that's just a great win at the line of scrimmage there by Truman State. I love the play design, but winning his battle up front was Jacob Carmack for Truman.
Yeah, that is one strong physical defensive front. Right now, the Dragons are trying to figure out just what they can do against this team. They'd love to be able to run the football. You can see they have those tight splits, and they want to be able to come off the ball. But I think what they're going to have to do is spread them out, throw the football a little bit, and then get some opportunities to hammer it.
And again, Tiffin will have the wind at their back in the next quarter. That is important to note. On the handoff, Blackman, this time a little bit of a crevice to run through. Again, Carmack makes the tackle. Ross there as well. Now before a gain of 4, and it's 3rd down and 6.
These guys have been here before. They must love this game. I'm sure there's a lot of incentives that go along with not only getting in it, but being able to play in it and winning it. So they're having fun. And Tiffin right now is kind of uncertain as to what they need to do to get some momentum established on their side.
So line to gain is the 35-yard line. Play clock at 9. Bulldogs bring 4. Pressure gets there, and quarterback goes down. Literally, Johnson had nowhere to go. He is sacked for the first time today. Back at the 19-yard line, a loss on the play of 10 yards.
Just overwhelmed them with speed and quickness. You saw that defensive line. Everybody was standing up. They just got a sprinter start, and things closed quickly for our man Alex.
So Wires on to punt the football away, and again, this wind will knock it down. Tries to angle as best he can on that one. Did not go well.
Nightmare.
This could be a negative yardage punt. They're going to give it to him at the 26-yard line. That is a punt of 7 yards. And now, we've already seen one short field for the Bulldogs, even more so here at the plus 26-yard line.
And another thing about that is they're getting no time for the defense to be on the sideline, working out mistakes and correcting things and finding out, creating ideas on how to stop this running game. They're right back on the field, and they're saying, oh, my God, here we go again.
Handoff to Cook. And Cook bounces off his own left tackle and still picks up 5 yards.
So Dad was the head coach, passed it on to the son.
Correct.
They kept the same blocking schemes.
Yes, they did.
These guys can block this stuff in their sleep, and they are so good at getting angles up front and coming off the football.
So 2nd down and 5. Cook now 6 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Plenty of time on the play clock here. Just a little quarterback counter. Ball is out. Ball knocked loose by Tiffin. They've got it. What a play to change momentum of this football game. And the guy that we have called the most for Tiffin is Malik Baker. He makes the play. Dragons take over at the 27.
Wow, was that needed. Beautiful job. They just got everybody to overload that far side of the field with the offense, and they tried a little quarterback counter to the backside. A couple guys stayed home, swiped it free. Maybe that's the momentum starter that the Dragons needed to get things going. Ooh, that's huge to stop them under in those field conditions, in field position, to be able to get a turnover at that time was huge for Tiffin.
And frankly, Joe, when you're playing Truman, you give up if it's a 3-score game, that can be over early the way they can control the clock with running the football.
Absolutely.
So fumble forced by the Dragons. Screen, very well read by Truman. Still positive yardage for Tiffin. The fact that that game got 4 was not too bad for the residents of Northwest Ohio. 2nd down and 6.
You know, they're trying every way possible to move the football. Short passing game and that screen game seems to be the best thing they've got. But really right now they need to take a couple shots deep. I know the wind is in their face, but everybody's ganged up against them right now. Got to loosen them up a bit.
So 2nd and 6. 43 yards of offense so far for Tiffin. 100 yards for the Bulldogs. On the RPO, catch made, tackle made in the open field. That is Jalen Thomas on the grab, and Thomas, here comes a late flag in, well behind the play. And Thomas slow to get up. As of now, it's going to be 3rd down and a yard, but let's see what that, and the flag came from literally on the opposite sideline, not on this side of the play. Let's see if a late hit's going to be called here. And already,
yes,
a little bit of yapping going on between these two teams. Again, played each other 3 times in 2 years. They have not seen each other since the bowl game 2 years ago.
With this break in the action, fans, don't forget we are looking for a local resident to take part in the field goal kicking competition at halftime.
Yeah, that was late and way away from the point of attack. It'll be interesting to see what the call is here.
Conversation remains ongoing here. Thomas walks over and shakes the hand of the defensive back immediately. Does the same with the defensive end too. But this has turned into a full-on committee meeting in terms of how to handle this one. As of now, it's 3rd and a yard. It will be a personal foul. Targeting is going to be the call, and an ejection is the call. So, targeting is the call. And head-to-head contact, and again, now another flag was just thrown as an explanation was taking place on the Truman sideline. And we will have the technology where, frankly, the officiating crew, our referees, will go to our production truck at halftime to be able to review that and to see if the player who was ejected, who I believed is Thomas Spaulding, see if he should be allowed to come back in the game in half number 2. I think another unsportsmanlike conduct will be taking place on the back end of that. So we're going to see the first penalty marched off for 15 yards, and let's see if there is another one that comes in on top of that. So it is first down for the Dragons. And tack on another. So from 3rd and 1 at the 36, it'll now be 1st and 10 for Tiffin at the Truman 34-yard line.
Huge swing, just what the Dragons needed, but it is such a tough thing for a defensive player. I don't know. I'm not sure. To me, the contact could have been with the shoulder. The head got involved. Those are such delicate calls, but they are huge in a game like this. You just got to stay away from that. But
Yep.
A nice physical, aggressive play turns into a mortal sin.
So we do have 4 cameras that we're using part of the broadcast, and our officiating crew have a chance to look at all of them coming up at halftime. Fake the handoff, quick hitter to Thomas, and Thomas breaks a tackle, gets some good blocking in front, keeps the legs churning, and he'll step out of bounds at about the 27-yard line for a gain of 7 yards. And as expected, Thomas has been a key part of the attack so far for the Dragons. That's already his 5th catch.
Yeah, he's a very, very talented and spirited athlete. But that defense ran to the football hard on that play. It was just a good physical, aggressive, individual effort that made that a 7-yard gain.
Furthest down the field that Tiffin has had the ball. For what it's worth, the winds have died down ever so slightly currently. Blitz coming. Right idea, just couldn't hit the pass. Ball was dropped. It's going to be an incomplete pass. That's the tight end Zalewski, who was the intended target. 3rd down.
Yeah, his feet, our man Alex, his feet were not set. He had a wide open target, would have kept that drive alive. You got to have those type plays. Great, he'll bounce back.
Great job by our end zone camera to show you his reaction. He knew he had it, just threw the wrong ball. Johnson now 9 of 13 for 60 yards on the opening 3 drives of the game. They'll run the ball here, which is for a first down and more. It'll be 1st and goal for Tiffin inside the 10-yard line after a pickup of 18 yards.
Very, very capable back. He hit that hole in a hurry and put on the burst. Just takes one little breakdown on that defensive front, and he's off and running.
Well, until that play, the running game had been in negative territory for Tiffin. 1st and goal now for the Dragons at the 9-yard line. And if I'm Tiffin, I am taking my time here because I want to have the wind at my back as often as possible to flip ends of the field to start quarter number 2, which is exactly what they're doing.
Exactly.
I think this is where you go fullback dive and start walking to the other end of the field.
Exactly.
And that's what they'll do. They'll hand it. Bouncing it outside, but Blackman does go out of bounds, but the clock will then reset and start once the ball is ready for play. Gain of a yard. It's going to be 2nd down and goal from the 8-yard line.
The pursuit of that Bulldog defense has been so impressive. They are all around the ball, and they get there with great energy and enthusiasm. See if they can hang in here with their backs to the wall.
I will leave the football strategy to Coach Belizzi. Apparently when it comes to meteorology, I have that down in terms of how to handle the win in today's game. So this is our last play of quarter number 1. We'll flip ends of the field. Tiffin looking at pay dirt for the first time in this bowl game. They trail Truman 10-0 after 15 minutes. You're watching the America's Crossroads Bowl from Hobart, Indiana on the ISC Sports Network. Alongside Joe Polizzi, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thanks for joining us for the America's Crossroads Bowl here on the ISC Sports Network. Again, that forced fumble by Tiffin, Joe, has completely changed the outlook of this game.
It sure has, and there are two evenly matched teams. Tiffin is just starting to get their feet on the ground offensively, finding out some things they can do. Truman is a formidable opponent. They can run to the football on defense and hurt you in so many ways offensively, especially with a physical offensive line that blocks to perfection.
So second down and goal from the 8-yard line. Blackman 5 carries, 25 yards in the backfield next to Alex Johnson. 74 yards of total offense for the Dragons in quarter number 1. Blackman's available in the flat, and now Johnson gets it to him, but he heard the footsteps coming. Second time we have called this linebacker in coverage, or defensive back rather, in Brock Jones that makes the play. 63 tackles for Jones this season.
Yeah, Alex waited just a little bit too long to throw that football. He was off balance when he had to deliver it a little bit sooner. He would have had a better opportunity.
So third and goal, and again, win at your back now. Field goal's more of a safe proposition if this play does not go as planned for Tiffin. Play clock at 4. Bulldogs bring just 3. And Johnson trying to find anybody open. Does find his man, but he's inside of the 1-yard line, and now you got to go for it at 4th and goal from about a foot away. Jumbo formation here for Tiffin. Great job by Johnson to buy time to find Blackman.
He sure did. And Blackman did a super job of making that catch and staying in bounds. Good execution. Big 6'5" quarterback. I'm thinking they're just going to sneak this.
This looks like tush-push time coming up here. Given how this formation is lining up. Yep, and Truman wants to take a look at it. They want a timeout. Let's do the same. 14:43 to play in the second quarter. 4th and a foot when we come back to Hobart on the ISC Sports Network.
At Truman State University, preparing you for the real world means crafting a learning experience designed to help you thrive through change, providing a curriculum that prepares you for today's job market and tomorrow's. A learning experience designed to support, encourage, and nurture you, while also challenging you, fostering your curiosity, and opening your mind to new possibilities. Truman State University, distinct by design.
Again, great job by Johnson just to keep buying time. And how about that for the fancy footwork of Ronald Blackman?
That is an excellent play. And you know what? They make it look so easy. That is a difficult thing to do. We're concentrating on catching the football, keeping our toes in, and also knowing that we're going to get laced by some defensive guy. And they make it look so simple. This is something I want to see, how teams are going to defend this tush push here. Oh, we're not doing it.
They changed formations after Truman got a look. Now the more conventional backfield formation. But somebody got a head start. It's going to be a false start.
Yeah, we're going to definitely, they're definitely getting too little candid out there.
These are old rivals, aren't they? Oh, and by the way, you can tell from the fans, they care about the bowl game.
Yes,
they care about this game.
Yeah, this is not just a recreational activity.
And with that, that's a 4-point penalty right there.
Sure is.
Because here comes the field goal unit on for Tiffin.
Sure is.
So first penalty against the Dragons after 3 for 35 against the Bulldogs. And on comes a young man that I've had the pleasure calling a lot of his games over the years. This is Ben Rudolph. He is a true freshman from Ben Davis High School in Indianapolis. We saw a lot of him the last couple of years on the ISC Sports Network. Ben Davis, the 6A champions, a large school classification in Indiana a season ago. This is from 23 yards out. Snap back, kick up, and this one is good. So it was not 7, but it was points for Tiffin, and they trail by 7 with 14:41 to play before halftime. Back in a moment after this for Tiffin University.
Your journey is full of choices. Make Tiffin University the next choice in yours.
I chose TU because of the business program. I chose TU because of the baseball team.
To play soccer.
I chose TU because of the small campus and tight-knit community.
For the golf team and the huge amount of international students that we have.
To play esports and tennis and to study computer science.
The education major and do musical theater. It's great.
The next step in your journey begins at tiffin.edu.
Choose TU!
Back at Hobart, let's thank our entire ISC Sports Network crew. Thanks to Jordan Shue, Dennis Glover, Dave Marin, Eldon Wheeler, Dalton Cox, everybody else involved in our production today. We're honored to be asked to come back for a fifth playing of this game. Thanks to Jimmy Nelson at the Greater South Shore. We'll talk to him coming up at halftime. As will both respective conference commissioners, Jim Domovich of the Great Lakes Valley Conference and Tom Dager of the GMAC of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. And alongside Joe Polizzi, Greg Rakestraw with you.
Having some fun.
Kick away from Rudolph. Fielded.
Whoa.
Solid return lane. Yeah, coach saw the same thing I did too.
Whoa.
Seas parted for Joseph Spaulding, who brings it back to the 35-yard line.
You know, you got to give that Bulldog defense some credit. Hanging in there and only giving up 3 at a huge point in the game like that was big. And this is not going to, you know, the wind at their back or in their face is not really going to affect their attack much now, is it, Greg?
Isaiah Funches Foster with the tackle. And the answer to your question is no. Truman likes to run the ball on days that end in Y. That's kind of how they play. And on cue, here's Cook with the wind in his face mask. Does not care. 10-yard pickup. First down for the Bulldogs.
Block to perfection, but gapping down and pulling the backside guard, and in this case, the tight end, and they can run that play in their sleep, I'm sure.
How good has the running game been at Truman historically? Well, a couple of years ago, their star tailback was Cody Schrader. He would finish his career playing in the SEC at the University of Missouri. That's how good the running back play has been for Truman State.
Yeah, this is their kind of game right now.
Yep. So ball to 44-yard line. On the handoff, it's Cook. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. May not be grammatically correct, but it works in football. 7-yard pickup, 2nd down and 3.
You nailed it. Just keep hammering that football. They have a physical advantage right now. Plus, they're so well-schooled in their blocking schemes. There's not a foot that goes out of line here. They're just so well-schooled up front.
The men up front, Cody Klingensmith, Mike Barretto, Wyatt Bonnet, Houston Egan, Greg Krupa, the starting offensive lineman for Coach Nesbitt's ball club.
Big boys.
2nd down and 3. 7 in the box. Again, Cook this time into the pile and keeps the legs churning and squirts forward for a first down. You kept waiting for the play to stop. He kept the legs moving and picks up another first down for the Bulldogs.
He hit in there hard and would not be denied. Great job picking up that first down. Huge when you're trying to kill the clock and you don't have the wind, and they do.
Offensive linemen just kept their blocks going. That was Chris Artis who made the tackle. Artis, a senior from Dayton, Ohio. And again, Truman will take as much time off the play clock as they possibly can on snaps. This time Hare will throw. Slings down the backfield. Catch made. And that will be in the neighborhood of a first down. That is Elijah Stevens. First time we have called his name. He does step out of bounds after a gain of 7. But it's 2nd down and 3. And again, to keep track, that's 15 offensive snaps for Truman. 13 runs. 2 passes.
2 passes. They're so well-schooled. They don't make mistakes. They're in the right spot. You can tell they're well-coached. It's fun to watch the execution here. This is after, 3 weeks off. You got to give them a lot of credit.
Truman has played in this game in 4 of the last 6 seasons. 2nd and 3. Make the handoff. Quick hitter. That's Kerr. And tackled immediately. Great work in the flat that time defensively by Jacob Tuame. He's a Sycamore Aviator from the north side of Cincinnati. 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Nice job trying to get the ball to your big tight end, but they were all over that. Defense got a jump and lead off and flew to it. Put them in a third medium, very, very big play here in this drive.
Tuame, first team all GMAC this year. Had 62 tackles coming into the game. Again, likely 4-down territory, 3rd down and 4. And Hare looks, now going to try to tuck it and run. Pass made, and that had disaster written all over it. And I thought it would be 4-down territory, but again, because the way the wind's going to knock down the punt, there's maybe a chance just to kind of kick it away and play the field position battle here for Truman.
I think it's smart. Put it up there, make him go the length of the field against the wind. A team that wants to really throw the football, it's a good decision. That was not a good decision, though, throwing the football late and down the middle. But they got out of there luckily.
A friend of mine likes to say, don't get bored with success. Truman may have been bored with success there. Got away from the running game.
Exactly.
3 plays, got about a yard. And again, this kick, fair catch made at the 11-yard line. And again, the wind just died down in time for Mason Gessert to get away that punt. But Tiffin will take over, down a score, at about their own 11-yard line.
89 yards against the wind, and it looks like it's, I don't know, picking up a bit. But they still have been able to execute pretty good. Strong arm quarterback. Nice schemes. But nothing is good when you're deep in your own territory this way.
Well, Johnson has been active throwing the ball, but it's been almost all short game. Has the 120-yard completion to Wills. Let's see if now maybe you air it out a little bit more. First play is going to be a run. And Blackman tripped up. Came all the way across the field for a gain of 3, and now he is down at the end of the play. We'll stop the clock right here as Blackman is going to require a little medical attention. So it'll be 2nd down and 7 when we resume. Blackman, a junior from Columbus. Training staff have to check on him. Let's step aside. 10:48 to play before halftime. 10-3, Truman leading Tiffin, the America's Crossroads Bowl on ISC.
On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
Get ready to rock. The Hobart Art Theater is your ultimate destination for live music, comedy, and community events right here in Northwest Indiana. Feel the energy as national and local bands take the stage, setting the tone for a rockin' evening. And if you're craving some laughs, we've got you covered with stand-up comedy guaranteed to have you rolling in the aisles. So grab your crew, grab a drink, and get ready for a night of fun. To view an upcoming schedule of events, visit brickartlive.com.
Well, thankfully, as we come back to action, Ronald Blackman just kind of up to his feet. And again, he took a pretty good wallop at the end of that play and took him more than a minute to go. Let's take another look here. Again, just kind of got grazed on the way by the defender and Tucker McDowell, who was giving chase for Truman. And again, Blackman, a big part of the offense. Nick Johnson is the 2nd leading ground gainer in terms of running backs, and he only has 43 carries on the season. So it has been Blackman that has been their workhorse in the backfield. We saw 1 carry so far for Nick Johnson. That was on the 4th and 1 play that was not successful. Johnson, a junior from Detroit. So 2nd down and 7. Catch made. Tackle made immediately. It will be forward yardage, a gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down on the yard coming up here for the Dragons.
That was about a 50-yard pass from one hash to
right.
the other. And it hung up there forever. But when you take out Blackman, almost 1,400 yards of rushing, of moving that football, you got to rely heavily on a passing game against the wind. This is going to be very interesting.
So 3rd down and a yard. Johnson on the carry. He's got it, 1st down. Needed 1 and picked up 3. Tackle made by Jackson Miller for Truman. Not before the Dragons pick up their 6th 1st down, and they have a lineman now down at the end of this play as well.
60.
Mustafa Feka is the player that is down at the end of this play. .6'4" and 318-pounder is Mustafa.
There's not much under 300 across the board on that offensive front for the Dragons. They're big fellas. Both sides averaged 300 pounds on their offensive line.
Mustafa able to quickly hop up, but not putting much weight on that foot. And unfortunately, that's just kind of part of the game at that position. In fact, a young man that played football at Notre Dame College, which unfortunately closed its doors at the end of last year in northern Ohio. 1st and 10. Blitz coming. Tiffin picks it up well, but there's nobody open. And Johnson dropped. 2nd time he is sacked today, and this one all the way back to the 10-yard line, a loss of 13.
That's the replacement offensive lineman came in and got greeted roughly.
That was Fry on your screen that made the play. Came in with a sack on the season, 28 tackles. Fry again starting in place of Jake McCollum in today's game. Fry, a sophomore from St. Louis, Missouri. So 2nd and a quarter of the field now for the Dragons. Catch made. And again, you make up the sack yardage. Get back to the 23. That'll be a gain of 14. But it's now 3rd down and 10 coming up.
Good pickup. Made things more manageable for this 3rd down. Good execution. You can see the strength of that arm. Again, we're gonna overdo this, but he's fighting against the wind and threw a laser.
So 3rd down and 10. Dragons are 2 of 6 so far on 3rd down. As the Truman fans are making some noise here. Again, here comes pressure. Kind of a jump ball throw. That's an easy interception. That's Closser that makes the play. And he's got blockers in front. Tripped up at the 27-yard line. And that time, Johnson kind of threw a jump ball, his 10th interception of the season, and that's about as easy of a play as Closser's going to make all year.
That's so unfortunate. You just kind of lose sight in the heat of the battle of where you are. Ill-advised throw, certainly going to be picked off, and now your defense is in a horrible situation.
Yeah, Truman dropped 6, sent 5, and Closser had eyes on that play the entire time. His 4th interception of the season. And remember, though, the last time that Truman had the ball to start a drive this well, Tiffin forced a turnover 2 plays later.
Exactly. There's always that. There's always that to bail you out.
So both teams now a takeaway here in the first 20-plus minutes of this game. Handoff on the jet motion. Gain of 3 or 4 yards that time. Ball carrier was Joseph Spaulding.
Nice addition to their offense. They can hurt you in a number of ways. They want to run the football. They want to gap block and pull people and run the ball. But they can hit you at the flanks. Good speed, good skill, and a nice offensive idea right there.
So 2nd down and 6. Cook 9 carries, 77 yards. Last 4 plays have been away from him. This time the quarterback counter. And Hare veered outside, ends up gaining 3. 3rd down and 3. And again, potentially 4-down territory. Again, wind has eased up a little bit. It's almost more of a crosswind right now.
Yeah, I think this is what they live for here. 2 cracks at 3 yards.
Exactly 100 yards rushing in the contest so far for Truman. Toss play right side, Cook. Cook just follows his blockers, and I think he's going to be just shy, maybe right at it. You know, we don't see the chain gang that much these days. We might see him here. That's right on the nose. Because the markers are, they're going to give it to him. Yep, first down. Needed 3 and got exactly that to the 17-yard line.
Got to the line of scrimmage, did it without any hesitation, and it worked. Good offensive ideas. Now they've got it just what they want. Good field position. Knock it on the door and get a chance to hammer that football.
First couple of drives resulted in points. Truman trying to add to that here. Cook off right tackle. And Cook, I think there's going to be a face mask there. Chris Artis with the tackle. He got some jersey. I think he got some face mask there too.
It might have been a little bit late. Yeah, these they got to get control here. I think we're getting a little too carried away with some extracurriculars, and it's taken away from some good football.
Take a look on the replay here, and yep, tremendous job by our camera folks to see that. And frankly, that flag came from the official that was further back who had a better look at the play.
Right.
That should be half the distance from this spot of the field, the 17-yard line. An automatic first down, so first and goal. And as I tell people, I get the pleasure of doing games at the high school level, the college level, and even a couple of NFL preseason games every year. The Friday and Saturday and Sunday rules are all different, so I have to kind of go through the permutations in my head. That's right, we're back to college rules, automatic first down.
Okay.
So first and goal inside of the 9-yard line.
You've got the brain, though, to keep track to that.
After a busy month of November, I'm not sure everything's working at this point. On the delay draw to Cook. Cook runs through 1 tackle, runs through a 2nd tackle, touchdown. Cook finds pay dirt for a 2nd time in this game. And it's back to a 2-score lead for the Bulldogs of Truman.
You know, he's that kind of guy. He's tough, spirited, and he's somebody that you better pay attention to because he can hurt you. That was a big drive and a big touchdown after a turnover.
Cook's 11th carry. He's picked up 89 yards and 2 scores. Again, Cook now touchdowns 11 and 12 on the season. And Calvarusso's kick is blocked. And that, because it went forward, is a dead ball. And if that goes backwards, different story. The ball went forward, hence.
Okay.
But 16-3 now is the score.
Now, is that a rule for high school, college, and pro? Right
I think that's a dead ball in high school, period.
Okay.
I know that in college you can return that potentially for, a 2-point conversion there, but that is that. So 16-3, Truman with the lead with 5:19 to go. And in Tiffin, with Truman going to have the ball to start the third quarter, for Tiffin, it's imperative you get points on this drive.
This is very, very important. I want to see if number 3 comes back and gets back in the game, because that's going to be huge. But you're right. This is a drive that if they're going to be serious about winning this bowl game, they got to put something together at this opportunity. Truman kind of takes this as, their bowl game. This is like something they put on their schedule. I think it's great. And I think it's a great thing that Division II is doing by adding these type games, and they need more of them. But what a great opportunity. If you just fall short from the playoffs, you get an opportunity to play in a bowl and play some more football and get up against somebody cross regions and everything good about it.
There's only a couple of these left in Division II. Division III has several of these. In fact, a couple of them were played this year at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Kind of a doubleheader they did at the Division III level. Short kick into that wind. Caught, and a fair catch signal is given by Tiffin. That's Zalewski. But again, because of that breeze, I like that decision. That's frankly the first kickoff we've seen going this direction in today's game.
Exactly. It looks like Ronald is coming back in. I'm glad. Those hits in the heads certainly scare you.
Good to see for Ronald Blackman.
All right, Dragons, here you go.
So ball at the 33-yard line. That's Zalewski who flares out in motion. Johnson fires and nearly picked off. That was Fry. And I tell you what, Truman defense is doing a great job of reading the eyes of the quarterback.
They really do. This was a zone. That backer played it perfectly. Sit. As soon as the quarterback is ready to throw, he got a jump on it and tipped it. And that wasn't like it fluttered. He threw it on a line. That was a well-thrown ball. Beautiful defensive play.
Tiffin's always been a program that's kind of an early adopter of the transfers into the program. Again, this is a young man that spent time at the University of Washington. That's the quarterback position for the Dragons here. 2nd and 10.
He's got a gun.
Fires. Overthrows Thomas. What about a yard shy of the first down if he had made the grab? Marquise Jones was in coverage for the Bulldogs, and it's 3rd down and 10. Johnson now 12 of 20, 87 yards, and that interception.
So important to get something going. You don't want to be looking at 3rd and 10 when your defense just came off the field, getting beat up all over the place. Huge drive, see if we can pick this up and then sustain something to eat up some clock and get on the board.
So 3rd down and 10. 5-man rush. Love the crossing pattern. Made it. A tackler miss. And it's going to be a yard shy of the first down is Blackman. And again, this is an interesting decision here for the Dragons. Looks like they've already made it. Punt team is starting to come on. Yep. They will play the field position battle with the wind at their back. It was a great play by Blackman just to make this one close.
Sure did. One more twist and he'd have had it, but I'm not so sure about this. What would Dan Campbell have done?
Well, it would involve biting kneecaps.
Exactly.
My friend that's native of Monroe, Michigan is loving life as a Lions fan right now.
It's been since before I was born that it's been this kind of a year.
You know, I've enjoyed it too. Now, as the host of the Indianapolis Colts postgame show, I didn't enjoy that Sunday before Thanksgiving very much.
Yeah.
With, 40,000 Lions fans that day at Lucas Oil Stadium.
You know what? I drove through town. I didn't go to the game, but I drove through town, and I saw so much Honolulu blue.
You were the one Lions fan who wasn't at that game, frankly. You were the one.
That's true.
Ball's at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, this is Truman's kind of ball right now. We're going to go the distance of the field and block everybody and make it happen.
And really for Truman, their goal, just keep the ball away from Tiffin, knowing they get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Cook out to the 28-yard line, a gain of 13. Again, Walton makes the tackle, but the bad news is that's your defensive end making a tackle 13 yards down the field. And we have another lineman that is down. This time it is for Truman. Seen a couple of injuries for Tiffin. Actually, it's not a lineman, it's Spalding. It's wide receiver. So Spalding, the player that is down, again, just kind of got caught up in the wash, blocking behind the play, and same thing has happened to the lineman for Tiffin, just got kind of rolled up onto. So 4:06 left to go. Again, coming up at halftime, we'll be joined by the commissioners of both leagues, Jim Namovich and Tom Dager, and Jimmy Nelson from the Greater South Shore. And, from the league's perspective, it is wonderful to be able to bring these teams into a community, give them the opportunity to continue their seasons. For those that again, are watching, if you're rooting for the Dragons, rooting for the Bulldogs, the reason the folks in Hobart and, again, in larger scale, what we call the region in Indiana, and really Lake and Porter counties want to have this game, is it shows you all of the wonderful things that you can do when you visit this part of the world. And this is one of a couple of sporting events that these two leagues have partnered on here in this area. There is a massive volleyball event that takes place here in the fall. I think the GLIAC gets involved in that as well. You bring teams from 3 different great Division II leagues into this area. Going to see Spalding back up on his feet.
Well, you can't go wrong. It's a win-win for the community. It's a win-win for the student athletes that are involved and the families. It's something you don't forget. Just look at the way they're playing this football game. They're getting after it, and they're putting on a show. And I think it's remarkable, and a lot of credit goes to those 2 commissioners of the league that are sticking with this and making it happen and making it a great experience. A lot to be proud of.
So Spalding not putting much weight on that foot, as he will hop to the sidelines. So 1st and 10 after a gain of 13 yards. Truman has used a timeout. Tiffin has all 3 if they need them. You see those on the dots on the bottom of your screen. Quick hitter. Catch made. Second such catch out of the backfield. For the backup tailback in Stevens, and Stevens will have a first down as he moves the chains, a gain of 11 yards. In for Hare. Just his 4th completion in 5 tries, but his quarterback rating is nearly 150 because he has been so efficient when he has thrown the football so far today.
You could tell he's just one of those guys that's born to be a quarterback. He's in complete control, good skills, but better as a leader and a field general, just doing a super job of moving his team.
But here is a very Truman-like stat. They are leading at 16-3. They have 0 completions to wide receivers so far in the game. That's kind of how Truman plays.
It works.
Yeah, and they have been quite successful since making the move to the GLVC. This one is a handoff and another gain of 8 yards. First chance that Stevens has had to actually carry the football. And Cook has been the workhorse and already over 100 yards rushing in today's game.
You know, I appreciate Cook. He is a heck of a football player. And they're giving him a little break here because he has been a workhorse and a very, very dependable one at that. This young man behind him has got some skills.
2nd and 2. Stevens 250 yards rushing. He is a freshman from Fenton, Missouri. Little option play this time. Stevens gets the pitch, gets the first down. Had Kerr as his lead blocker. Steps out of bounds at the 47-yard line. And again, the clock will start to roll here before we get to the 2-minute timeout. First down from the plus 47.
260-pound lead blocker against a 175-pound DB. I'd say that was pretty well sketched out.
They will have to snap the ball here. There's about a 6-second difference between play clock and game clock. There's getting to the 2-minute timeout. Is bring Kerr back as an extra wedge blocker. Fake little pop pass here and great reaction. And seemingly when good things have happened for Tiffin defensively, we've called Malik Baker's name every time.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player.
Baker, 47 tackles on the year. Had 3 passes broken up on the season as well. Baker, a redshirt sophomore from Bedford, Ohio. That time the intended target was Nathan Ryan. 2nd down and 10.
He's a good player, just a sophomore.
Delayed blitz. Hare reads it. Kerr. But Kerr, wise decision on the tackle. Go low against those 260 pounds. That's Chucky Lewis that makes the play.
Smart move, Chucky.
First team all-league defender that makes the grab, and that will bring us to the 2-minute timeout. So 3rd down and 9 coming up for Truman. What's your play call here in 3rd and 9 from the Tiffin 46-yard line?
You know, they've been so good at throwing their quick game to the outside. two short to their backs or the short wideouts, I'd run the football right here. If that makes any sense. Do what you do best when you most need it to keep this drive alive.
25 offensive snaps so far for the Bulldogs. 20 have been rushing plays. 27 offensive snaps. 7 have been passing plays. You'll like that 3-to-1 ratio.
There's a lot to be said about running the football and sure passing downs. They got Cook back in that huddle, and he's been playing spirited football today.
Everybody gets this free timeout, new to college football this year. Any other stoppages in play will have to come based off of these two teams. And again, Truman won the toss and deferred, so they will get the ball to start quarter number 3. Pass, catch made, first down. That's Ryan. He was the intended target 2 plays ago. Ryan makes the grab. 6'4", 210-pound sophomore from Troy, Missouri. That also means that likely Truman, if nothing else, will be able to kind of just let this clock roll down as we get closer to halftime.
Nice job after the catch. Backward run for a couple yards and keep the chains moving.
Overton, the man in motion. Cook, the ball carrier. And again, he is so tough to bring down at 5'9" and 235. Bangura got to for 2 yards. It took 3 more yards to bring him down.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you just count his yards after contact, and it's impressive.
Once heard a running back described as trying to catch a falling safe. I would imagine that would be kind of Cook. There's no good place to kind of grab him and try to bring him down.
Pretty descriptive. Good one.
And on the RPO, catch made by Overton. They'll move the chains, which will stop the clock momentarily with 1:03 left to go. And that, by the way, before that it was Ryan. Those are some catches by the wide receivers. And again, Overton, a redshirt freshman, was the leading receiver this year with 40 grabs for Truman.
Yeah, they've got the whole plethora of offense, but they're selective about what they're using, and they're extremely well schooled in the offensive line.
Hare, nowhere to go, and that's Walton. The local product, the Gary kid, makes the tackle, and now Truman will ask for timeout as Hare is dropped back to the 35-yard line, a loss of 11. The second sack that Walton's been a part of this year.
You know, he was the guy walking around before the game with his shirt off, and nobody blamed him.
56 tackles, 14.5 for loss, 12.5 sacks on the season. Walton is a junior.
It's one of those things where you say, can you play like you look? Well, he can, and he is.
So second down and 21. And again, kicking game is strong for Truman. And they just had an extra point blocked, but whatever the long of Calvo Russo is, which on the season is 42 yards, you probably want to get about 10 yards inside of that because of the wind in today's game.
Yeah, those flags are flapping back there. They mean business.
Truman is also down to 1 timeout. And at this juncture, you're not calling timeouts to help them if you're Tiffin. You're trying to keep this a 2-score game going to halftime. No really safeties that far back for Truman. They're in a normal defensive alignment here on second down and 21. They'll rush just 3, but they do get pressure. Hare finds a man. Stepping out of bounds is Stevens, his third grab. He'll pick up 5 yards. Play takes 6 seconds off the clock. Now sets up third down.
He's pretty poised. He's impressive. The sophomore quarterback is impressive. He took over for his brother, correct?
Correct.
Keep it in the family.
Older brother Nolan. Multi-year starter for the Bulldogs. So 3rd and 16. Again, the quick hitter. Catch made and able to break it. Tackling out of bounds is Kel Battle. Battle's 18th catch of the season. That picks up 7 yards. It sets up 4th down. But again, they're going to go for it here on the field goal. But again, now you're looking at about a 40-yard kick. And again, the wind seemingly changes velocity on a regular basis. It's kind of a little bit less right now. And you just had an extra point block. That's going to be in Calvo Russo's mind.
And I'll bet he's got a little fake in his package also we may be alert for.
4th and 9. Punter is the holder. Snap back. Kick up, and the wind just killed it.
Yeah, that was all off. He didn't really get his foot into it. He had to hurry it a bit.
And I would think with the arm strength of Johnson and, frankly, the leg strength of Rudolph, and Tiffin's got all 3 times. They're going to be aggressive here with Tiffin.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You really got to get this about 40 to 50 yards down the field to have a legitimate shot at 3 if you're the Dragons.
You know our rule. Score every time you have the wind at your back, and let's see him cut it loose right here.
Got one safety that's playing about 15 yards off the line of scrimmage already for Truman.
Ooh, off the corner.
Johnson, and that may do that. Dropped. Look to the sideline. Looks like Tiffin says, you know what? That's enough. Tucker McDowell got back there, and that will be the end of the half. Well, Truman has played the type of football that has made them one of the more successful programs in the Great Lakes Valley Conference since they made the move. At halftime, our score, Truman 16 and Tiffin 3. It is the 5th play of the America's Crossroads Bowl, and Truman's trying to win it for a 4th time. We're back to Hobart after this on ISC.
Welcome to the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, where greatness is achieved from heart-stopping moments to incredible teamwork and unyielding determination. This is more than a conference. It's a community of excellence where academic success meets athletic prowess and future leaders are forged. The Great Midwest Athletic Conference. Building character through competition.
We are at halftime here on the ISC Sports Network. Greg Rakestraw, Joe Polizzi with you. Again, we got several halftime guests that will be joining us in a matter of moments. Jim Domovich, Commissioner of the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Tom Dager, the Commissioner of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. And, again, Jimmy Nelson from the Greater South Shore. All those get them coming up in a matter of moments. Again, our score at the break, it is 16 for Truman. Is 4 over some of that's from half number 1 while we have the opportunity. 200 of total offense for Truman and 94 for Tiffin. Dylan Hare, 9-11 passing for 76 yards. Alec Johnson, 13 of 21 for 96 yards for Tiffin. The offensive star, obviously, is Denham Cook. 13 carries, 106 yards for Truman. Ronald Blackman has 6 carries for 28 yards to pace Tiffin. From a receiving standpoint, Jalen Thomas has 5 catches, but none for more than 7 yards. 27 yards in terms of total offense. Chris Kerr, 3 catches for 29 yards. Elijah Stevens, 3 catches for 23 yards to lead at Truman State. On the played out here.
I'm just impressed with the way Truman State is carrying out themselves offensively, defensively, and just well coached. They're playing in. That doesn't affect their intensity level. They're going hard, but they have got their ground solid team. A lot goes back to a sophomore quarterback who's He's running the right now. It's just a great example of good football from a, and that's what Truman State is doing us right.
Joe, we'll let you get a break at halftime. Guest is getting ready to hear conversation. The Great Lakes Conference in get the office. Dreaming. It's perfectly fine.
Okay,
you've been there long enough. You can say these things. Now, how many years now has this been in the GLVC office for you?
Year 24.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's been a great run. I'm blessed. It's been a wonderful gig.
And only half of that time has the GLVC-sponsored football. This is, year 13 of football in the Great Lakes Valley Conference.
Yeah. It's, we're still a relatively newbie in the world of Division II college football. But, man, what a great addition it's been for the league and to provide a home for our 9 football playing schools and, to have another postseason opportunity outside of the D2 playoffs has really been a godsend, and just to see the players, they don't win or lose. This is it for them, so they can relish that opportunity with their teammates and their fans and parents. So it's been a really good thing for the league to have football.
From a league standpoint, Lincoln, who briefly played football in your league, is now back as a full-fledged league member. What's it been like welcoming them in?
Well, we were really happy. Obviously, geographically, they're an ideal fit in Jeff City, Missouri, with everybody else, and that's. We'd had experiences with Lincoln before. Dr. John Mosley, their president, was bullish on getting into the resigning from the MIAA to join the GLVC. They had nothing against the MIAA, but geographically it just made a lot more sense for them to compete in the GLVC. So they've added men's and women's soccer, and they have baseball back again, so they added some sports in support of their entry into the league. So we're excited to see the Blue Tigers this year.
It also is, frankly, really neat. It's been since the days of Kentucky State 30 years ago that an HBCU has been a member against Central State, again, briefly, like Lincoln was there in football, but it's great to have that as part of the family, too.
It absolutely is. And, to have a presence in Jeff City is important, and we have some state schools that, that if they want to entertain now and they have the opportunity to be with the local politicians in Missouri, they have that opportunity now when they're at Lincoln.
All right, so with that, in terms of league football this year, another dominant year for the University of Indianapolis in representing the league in terms of the Division II playoffs.
Yeah, Chris Keevers has taken up what Bart started at UIndy and continued. He was a longtime assistant for Coach Bartolomeo, and he's done a terrific job. That program is firing on all cylinders, and ran into a really good Grand Valley State team in the first round of the playoffs. But we were well represented as a league with UIndy again.
These days, there is obviously so much changing in terms of the landscape of college athletics. What sort of effect has that at the Division I level had in terms of your league in the Division II level?
Well, I told anybody that would listen 4 years ago, I guess it was 3 years ago, whenever Texas and Oklahoma had made the decision they were going to leave the Big 12 and go to the SEC, and I told people that will have a domino effect, and it could affect the GLVC, and that's exactly what happened, because as the Big 12 looks to replace Texas and Oklahoma, and Conference USA has to replace, eventually it gets to the OVC, and the OVC came knocking on the door of Lindenwood and University of Southern Indiana because the dominoes fell for their schools. And so everybody's trying to fill those slots. And so it's been a really interesting time. I think we've got great leadership in Charlie Baker as our NCAA president. He gets it. He's got boys that played at the Division III level. So I think from a Division II and Division III perspective, we think we really have as strong as an advocate at the Big Blue Disc as we've had in a long time. He gets it. He understands that what 99% of the population know is Alabama, Notre Dame, Florida State, Duke, UCLA. But he's got an appreciation that there's the Trumans and the Tiffins out here, and you had the DePaul game on in Wabash and Franklin College. There's a lot of people playing intercollegiate athletics with great opportunities to compete and get a quality education, and we don't want those opportunities to go by the wayside. So it's not all what you're going to see today in all the conference championship games. Those are great and they're entertaining, but there's a lot more to intercollegiate athletics than meets the eye.
And finally, before we let you go, what is this part? Again, 6 years strong because of the COVID pandemic. Going to play the game 1 year, so 5th time we have played it. But to have a partner like this with the Greater South Shore, what does that mean for your league?
It means everything. And I told the folks on staff, Tom and I brag about this game and specifically the support from the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority with colleagues that we have across the country about how this game comes about, what it's all about, the visits to the elementary schools. The hotel rooms are paid for the teams. Every meal is covered while they're here. So, they rally around it. What Hobart High School provides us here with this beautiful facility. It's really it's one of my favorite events because I can be a fan today. I don't have to sit down. I watch out for Commissioner Dager so he doesn't see me do a fist pump when the Bulldogs go ahead, but I'm fist pumping on the sideline.
You're allowed to cheer for your team.
I'm going to.
It's
too.
okay.
All right, Greg.
Go enjoy it.
Thank you, sir.
Jim Domovich, Commissioner of the Great Lakes Valley Conference, kind enough to join us. We'll take this quick timeout. His counterpart and former colleague in the GLVC, Tom Dager, will join us next as you're watching the America's Crossroads Bowl. 16-3, Truman leading Tiffin, right here on the ISC Sports Network. Our score at the break, it is Truman 16 and Tiffin 3. We heard from Jim Domovich of the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Now his friend and counterpart, Tom Dager, Commissioner of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, joins us now. Tommy, it is good to see you as always. I know you wish that score was a little bit different, but your thoughts about being here and be a part of this game again one more time.
Greg, good to see you as well. So happy to have you and your crew back up here for another round of the America's Crossroads Bowl. It's such an amazing event for us to be able to partner with our friends from the GLVC to highlight two of our highest performing football programs from the 2024 season. And although the scoreboard for us is not in our favor in the first half, another great first half of football in the America's Crossroads Bowl, and looking forward to seeing what Tiffin can do in the second half to pull this one even and hopefully take the lead for the GMAC.
Now, because Ashland won the bowl game for the first time as a GMAC member last year, do you start your day in the office by turning on the leg lamp every time you walk in?
It's a huge highlight of our office every day, and a sense of pride for us to be able to finally capture that traveling trophy. We were grateful to the South Shore CVA for coming up with that traveling trophy back in our initial inaugural year of this event, and they've done an outstanding job of promoting that here locally as well and highlighting their history with that Christmas Story program and the leg lamp. And something that we take pride in earning as a traveling trophy for our conference.
I know you have treated that as very fragile for the last 53 weeks. I understand that. For those who don't know, A Christmas Story was set in Northwest Indiana. The writer, creator of the movie, is from this area, and hence that is the nod. And again, it's one of the more popular pictures I put on social media every year is that trophy when it's here in the press box.
It's a fun one for the teams to embrace as well. They also have an outstanding award for the team that is not the Christmas Story trophy that they get to honor, as well as an offensive and defensive player of the year award that are outstanding. but we also get to enjoy the student athletes really embrace that leg lamp after the end of the contest. They love getting their picture with it as much as you and I do each year when we're up here.
Because they've heard their parents talking about it, seeing that movie, although since it's on TNT for 24 hours straight, seemingly.
30th anniversary was last year, and they've done a great job here in supporting that. And we're glad to be a part of it as well.
All right, what's new in the GMAC these days?
Well, we're really excited about our growth and trajectory as a league as we support our 13-member institutions and had a great fall season. The football season was competitive again as it came down to the last weekend with several teams in the hunt to not only advance to the NCAA tournament but also have a shot to be here, and it provides a lot of excitement at the end of the year, not only have that postseason opportunity with the NCAA, but to be able to come to the Crossroads Bowl. But not only in football, soccer was another successful year as we had 2 teams on the men's side advance to the 3rd round of the tournament. And Ashland was the top seed in the women's soccer bracket. And not to be outdone, the volleyball tournament is still going for us as we have a team, Findlay, that's advanced to the regional final tonight and are playing top-seeded Ferris State this evening. So across all of our fall sports, it's been a lot of fun, and we're here as a league office to hopefully continue to support our success of our student athletes.
And when it comes to football, obviously in the GLBC there's been a pecking order. It's been UND, it's been Truman. Obviously Lindenwood was a part of that in their brief time in the league. But really in your league, it seems to be almost a different team every year, whether we see them here or the D2 playoffs.
It's exciting for us to have that type of parity at the top of the league. It makes it very highly competitive for, again, not only that tournament spot, for this bowl spot. And we've seen 4 different teams here. This is the first time we've had a repeat visitor to the bowl game, as this is Tiffin's 2nd trip. And we've had a number of teams advance in the NCAA tournament and have success. Ashland picked up a first-round win at Charleston, knocking off the 2 seed in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and fell just short in the 2nd round at Cal. So really excited about the parity that we have, the competitive balance that we have in our conference, and I think any of our institutions as they enter the season have a lot to hopefully aspire to achieve in our league by having these opportunities on top of the NCAA event.
For those that don't know, that don't speak Division II, when Tommy drops a Cal reference, that's California, Pennsylvania, by the way, from the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, not the Golden Bears. They didn't go to play in Berkeley against a team from the ACC. I asked this question to Jim. I want to actually give you kind of the same opportunity as well on a couple of fronts. One, there is so much turmoil, turnover, kind of uncertainty in terms of college athletics these days. How has that at all trickled down to your league in the Division II level?
We obviously are tracking on a number of the developments that are occurring nationally at all levels, and the impact those decisions are making and having on the association in Division I, II, and III. I think from the Great Midwest perspective, we've really embraced and from the outset of our league focused on the profile and the private school model that our institutions provide our student athletes, and really have had the opportunity to re-embrace what we believe in strongly. And I don't know that we have too much focus right now on what's transpiring at the Division I level and relative to how that would potentially impact us outside of some of the realignment that occurs. Anytime any change happens within the association, it's going to have a trickle-down effect, and we've seen that over the course of time, impacting a number of conferences in this region. So certainly privy to what's going on there and from a realignment standpoint, but our focus is to continue to try to drive home our focus on balance of that academic and athletic perspective for our student athletes and make sure that they're being successful in the classroom and also having success out here on the field. And I think we've seen that across the board in our league over the last few years, and look forward to continuing to support that moving forward.
Every championship in every league is unique and special, and the league offices try to make sure they do that. But there are a couple of really unique things about your league. This is one of them. The other is the baseball championship that you have every year in May. For those that are unaware of the atmosphere and where it takes place, tell us about it.
Well, we're thrilled to have partners not only up here in the South Shore region for this event, but also at the Prasco Park, which is located in Mason, Ohio, and supported by the Arrington family and the Arrington Foundation. And that baseball venue, which also hosts the Big East tournament annually, is really, really special in what they provide our student athletes, not only on the experience with the game itself, but what they provide the spectators and fans relative to free admission and free concessions and all that's going on to that festival-like atmosphere. It's second to none, in my opinion, in college athletics relative to a collegiate event. And what we've now really been able to focus on is providing those experiences across not only baseball, because what Mr. Arrington wants us to be able to achieve there is raising the bar for all of our championships. And we've taken our softball championship now to a location in Akron at Firestone Stadium and received the support from that community to have a similar type championship experience. So it's those partners that we have with Prasco, with the folks here at South Shore CVA, with the folks that are in Akron helping us with that event, that are really making this a special opportunity for our student athletes, and we couldn't be more thankful for their support. But you're right, we'd love to get you out there at some point for that championship event, because it's a really special week for our student athletes, and one I always certainly enjoy going to as well.
It is a major college experience at the small college level, which is so cool to be a part of. Good to see you as always, my friend.
You as well, Greg, and thanks to you and Joe for being up here. We appreciate you much.
You got it. Tom Degger, again, he's the commissioner of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back first half highlights, maybe one more guest as well. We're about 8 minutes away from action resuming here at the America's Crossroads Bowl. 16-3, it is Truman leading Tiffin. Back after this on ISC.
At Truman State University, preparing you for the real world means crafting a learning experience designed to help you thrive through change, providing a curriculum that prepares you for today's job market and tomorrow's. A learning experience designed to support, encourage, and nurture you, while also challenging you, fostering your curiosity, and opening your mind to new possibilities. Truman State University, distinct by design.
Take a look at our highlights from half number one. Again, for Truman, the running game is always a key component of what they do. Early pass completion to Chris Kerr. That one was for 29 yards and put Truman inside of the 20-yard line. That sack, though, by Tiffin forced a field goal, which was converted by Vinny Calruso. 3-0 was the early status for Truman. Cook with the big gain here. This one for 34 yards. His longest of 13 carries for 106 yards. He'd reached the end zone twice. There's the first one to make it 10-3. After a wind kind of knocked down punt, that forced fumble by Tiffin frankly got them in motion. They were able to get 3 points on the board, but Cook would respond with another touchdown to make it 16-3. As Truman again has a 2-score lead at halftime in this, the final play of half number one. We're rejoined now by Joe Polizzi. And Joe, let's kind of take this kind of team by team. If you're Truman and Coach Nesbitt, what was your message to your guys at halftime?
I think they know that if they continue to execute, they're probably going to be okay because they're a little bit more physical. They're a little bit more polished at this point. What I would say to the Tiffin team is they're not playing anything close to the kind of football they've been playing all year, and they just need to get their feet on the ground. It's been some weather conditions, the wind. It's been some field position. It's been some turnovers, but they have not yet got balanced up and played the kind of football we know they're capable of playing.
From a player's view standpoint, if you're a freshman through a junior, the next time you'll put on pads is at some point in time in March or April. The next time you'll see another team is around Labor Day weekend. If you're a senior, you may have 30 minutes in your football career left to go. What's the mindset of the young men wearing shoulder pads and helmets right now?
You know, it's put it all out there. There is no excuses. We've got nothing to save it for. This is a huge opportunity for us to play the second half of a bowl game, and we're just going to make the best of it and give it everything we have, and I'm really anxious to see that kind of play.
Truman and Tiffin. Truman leads it by 13. Truman will have the ball to start quarter number 3. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back and bring you third quarter action next as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
It just made sense to get my MBA at Tiffin University. The quality of the education is very high. Your professors here do care. I definitely felt like I could grow as a student, and what's great about the online world is that it allows you to manage your time a little bit better. Pursuing my MBA has been one of the best decisions of my life. I can feel myself maturing, becoming a smarter person, a better person. It's exciting.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome to the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, where greatness is achieved from heart-stopping moments to incredible teamwork and unyielding determination. This is more than a conference. It's a community of excellence where academic success meets athletic prowess and future leaders are forged. The Great Midwest Athletic Conference. Building character through competition.
Back to the Brickyard here in Hobart, alongside Joe Polizzi, Greg Rakestraw with you. And thanks to our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew that makes this December football game possible. Hope you appreciate it on the ISCSportsNetwork.com, ISC's Twitter, YouTube, and the conference portals as well. And some of the individual stats, we've given you kind of the high points. 13 completions for Tiffin. Jalen Thomas, 5 catches. Javier Willis with 3. Linkert and Blackman each with 2. Holbrook had 1 catch in the half. In terms of leading tacklers, we have talked about Malik Baker a lot for Tiffin. Well, there's a good reason. He's got 10 tackles in the first half. Tuame with 7. Bangura with 6. Walton with 4, including officially 1.5 sacks. Johnson, the leading tackler for Truman with 8. Brock Jones with 4, Marquise Jones with 3, and Peyton Carr with 3 as well. Already at this kind of stage of mid-afternoon, you see some shadows starting to creep in. It is that time of year. This is one of 5 Division II games being played today, 4 national quarterfinals, and this bowl game here in Hobart. And Tiffin had the ball to start the game. Truman won the opening coin toss and elected to defer. And I would imagine, Joe, you're not going to see anything different from Truman.
No, I think they should be pretty happy with the way they're playing. I'm sure they're going to come out with some fire. They'll add some things to their offense. But right now, there's been nothing to tell them they can't block this defense and they can't stop this offense by putting some pressure on. So they're feeling pretty good right now. The team that I'm anxious to see is the corrections, the change in speed of play for Tiffin. This is a very, very proud football program that has played some good ball this year. I expect that they got a good kick in the pants, and they're ready to crank it up for the second half.
Yeah, Tiffin coming in at 7-4 on the season. Or Truman at 7-4, Tiffin at 8-3 rather.
Bring it on.
So again, Tiffin will have the win at their back in quarter number 3, and frankly, I'm not sure that there's, going to have to go that way. Now, Rudolph's pretty good at onside kicks. Do you think about one here? Answer's no. Overton fields at the 5-yard line. And Overton, much as Spalding found a bit of a wedge there, kind of in that similar area of the field. Back to the 27-yard line. So first down and 10 at the 27. We saw it was a busy half for the Spaldings for Truman. Thomas, the defensive end, was ejected for a targeting call in the first half. Joseph, the wide receiver, injured. Joseph is out there, but not sure if we'll see him back on the field in half number 2. Cook spins away from a tackler and picks up 2 yards.
He has earned his oranges, as they say. He is a good, tough, hard running back that just keeps on coming. He'll come off the field. He'll appear to be injured, but he'll pop back out there with enthusiasm. They got a nice backup, and they're, getting plus yards on first down, which is a key in a football game like this.
Van Gorup, again, in on the tackle. Also at the nose guard, Gio Albanese in to make the play as well. Gio, a junior from St. X High School in Cincinnati. 2nd and 8. Blitz coming. Hare just dirts it. Threw the ball and wisely saw that he had Kerr in the neighborhood. Just threw that ball at his ankles, get rid of it. Good play designed by Tiffin, 3rd down.
And that is a change. That's something they didn't do in the first half. They got up in their face, played man-to-man, and brought the heat. And if that's the adjustment they've made, I'm all for it.
Walton again making the play. Already has a sack and a half. Again, he is from Gary. So 3rd down and 8. Truman was 2 of 5 on 3rd downs in the opening half. Again, pressure coming. Hare slings it. Catch made by Kerr and has the first down. The route got him about 7 yards. He got the last 3. Truman moves the chains.
Again, nice job. Poised by the QB. Held in there, knew exactly what he wanted from that defense to give him. The doors opened up. He delivered it nicely. What an impressive young quarterback.
I would think because of Kerr's size, I'm not sure that he is an NFL tight end. I think he might be like an NFL fullback or H-back, kind of the way that he blocks at 6'2 and 260. I would think he might have a future after this game professionally.
I think so, too. He is very, very talented. And he's light on his feet for a big fella, as we see right here.
Make the catch here out of the backfield. Gain of 2. Again, you see a handful of NFL teams still kind of use that H-back, fullback role. So 2nd down and 8.
There's one in southeastern Michigan that I can think of.
I am just lobbing you softballs for the Lions
yes,
at this
you
point
are.
in time.
Thank you.
And again, you've got 3 generations of catching up to brag on being a Lions fan.
That's
so
true.
That's fine.
That's true. We were not too long ago, 0-16.
Correct.
I say we.
That's team of your youth. You can say that. That's fine.
I could say that. But right now we're on top of the world, and yes, we do use a fullback and a big, strong H-back.
2nd down and 8. Hare will keep. Cuts in beside Kerr and just gets a yard. And obviously Tiffin at this point is dedicating a lot more resources to stopping the run game, knowing they have to.
Yeah, and I think they're playing with a little more spark, a little more momentum, creating enthusiasm, and that's what they needed.
Already 1 3rd down conversion on the drive. That was 3rd and 8. This is 3rd and 7. Hare 11 of 14, 88 yards. Both quarterbacks less than 100 yards passing in this game. Part of that is simply weather conditions in today's game. Tiffin brings 4. Hare, throwback screen to Kerr, and Kerr, again, great effort just to make this close. But now a flag comes in late. And I'm wondering if I think there was a face mask on this play too, because you see Kerr is no longer wearing his helmet.
Yeah, that
the back judge sticking for I think a face mask here, which will give Truman a first down.
Yeah, all because of some second effort from a young man we've been talking about.
And again, because it was a face mask, he can actually stay in the game because the face mask is what pulled his helmet off. He'll go ahead and come out for this play.
Yeah, it's those extra effort plays like that we saw also in the first half that make a difference in a football game like this. They continue to move the team, but more than that, they create the momentum, the sparks of momentum that make games like this.
So a 15-yard penalty. Just the 3rd penalty against Tiffin in this game, but 2 of them have now been face mask penalties. 3 penalties, 35 yards against Truman. 3 penalties, 28 yards rather against the Dragons. Over to the motion man. Snap almost hit him And a rare negative yardage play for Cook. He loses a yard or two, and it sets up second down.
Yeah, they're bringing it. Tiffin defense says we're not going to go out this half without putting on some heat. And they're bringing them, which is a good way to stop this run and disrupt the pulling and trapping schemes that the Bulldogs like to work on up front.
Yeah, Walton's going to have to come off for a play. You see he's really hobbling. Obviously playing with a significant wrap on that right arm. He hobbles off for at least a play. Second and a dozen. Hare. Defenders vacate. Now you give Cook a head start.
Yes.
And good luck catching that.
Yes.
First down, pick up a 12 yards.
The A-train. The A-train, and again, the execution from the quarterback. Let the defense retreat. Let everybody get to their zone, knowing all the time that he's got a perfect outlet pass to hit and move the chains.
For Cook, it's his first catch of today's game. He's got 13 of those on the season. But this is also what Truman does. First drive of the half, 5 minutes have come off the clock.
Yeah. Effortlessly, so to speak.
Time of possession approaching plus 8 minutes for the Bulldogs. Hand off to Cook. Not much there in the game. Credit Tiffin. They have now slowed down the running attack. Credit Truman. They have found another way. Second down, and there another flag just pops free.
Yeah, it's been way too, as they say, chippy. But they're walking off some good field position.
Yeah, clearly
here.
Truman thinks it's against them.
Good play up front by Tiffin. Played gap control defense perfectly. Anxious to see what this is.
So unsportsmanlike against Truman. So that will make it from 2nd and 10 now to 2nd and 25. And let's take a look.
Was that a kick?
So Cody Klingensmith, the guilty party on that one. Alan Davis, our referee. Joined by Ross Hayden, Chris Kemp, Mike Cayley, Brian Whittick, Ryan Willie, and Matt Snyder on our crew for today's game. But again, Truman, knowing the clock is running, they will take their dear old sweet time to get the play in. If I remember right, the first time we had them in a bowl game, they may have rattled off a 9-minute drive to kind of start the game here. Option, keep. Wise decision by Hare. Gain of 2 on the play. Again, while Hare has thrown now for 105 yards. His rushing numbers are a little more reduced because he's taken a couple of sacks. He's got officially 9 yards rushing, but he had a long of 29 earlier in the contest.
And I think that outside of all the numbers and the figures, it's just his demeanor that has control of this offense and keeps those big fellas up front playing hard, and everybody else falls into place.
So third down. And again, you hand it off here to Stevens. Stevens on the draw. Ball's out. Picked up by Tiffin. Turnover. Second one of the game for Truman. They have both come on fumbles. Recovering that ball was Aiden Fisher, who gets on top of that one for the Dragons.
Hey, a spark anywhere you can get it. Just that penalty kind of sparked them. They played with a little more enthusiasm. Now you got a little bit of extra effort to cause a turnover, and you don't know what avalanche that could begin.
I believe it was Collier Brown that forced the fumble. Collier, a senior from Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Played for the Akron Zips before making his way to the Division II level.
The Zips.
It's a ball at the 34-yard line. On the handoff, Good solid gain by Blackman. With a credit for a gain of 6. 2nd and 4. Blackman 6 carries for 28 yards in the first half. And 11 rushing plays, 21 passing plays for Tiffin in half number 1.
Yeah, they definitely favor that as a means of moving the football. But right now, they've got some energy.
They lead the turnover battle, but trail on the scoreboard. Bulldogs bring 4. Johnson delivers and just really threw that one away. Flag comes in late, and let's see if it's going to be roughing the passer.
4-4.
Certainly Miller thinks that's the case for Truman. He puts his hands to his head. And roughing the passer is going to be the call. First down. Team that Miller got there just about a step too late. Now 5th penalty against the Bulldogs, totaling 65 yards. What would have been 3rd down and 4 now becomes 1st and 10 on the plus side of the 50-yard line.
And some added fuel to the fire. Again, it doesn't matter how that momentum gets your way. You just want to take advantage of it and ride it at this point. And Tiffin needs a shot in the arm.
Toss play right side, Blackman. Blackman against the grain, finds a way to get a yard. It didn't look like there was, frankly, that much in it. Closer amongst those that were in to force the play. Like that Jackson Miller, 43, not 13. 2nd down and 9.
He took a lick on that one. That cutback was not such a good idea.
If you're Tiffin, I don't think you have to go hurry up, but maybe a slightly quicker pace. Knowing you're down 2 scores, and also you only have to win with your back for 7 more minutes. Dropped. Just didn't have that much mustard on that one. Thomas, the intended receiver.
His feet were not planted. Couldn't put all he needed into that throw. And those are the things you got to have. If you want to make a comeback, those are the plays you have to make.
Well, it's been just not a lot of big plays in it right now for Tiffin. Blackman's got an 18-yard carry. Wills is a 20-yard catch. Linkert's got a 14-yard catch. That's it. Everything else has been of the single-digit variety. And it's 3rd down and 9. Truman shows blitz. They back out. They hand off. And how about this? The 3rd and 9 carry that picks up a gain of 13. And that's Nick Johnson on the carry.
Hit it just right. Defense was coming. The quick handoff on the draw play, kind of like a quick draw. Progress.
Injury timeout here. Again, I think that's the receiver that was blocking, and Will Linkert that is the injured player. Let's tell you what, let's step aside. Back in 30 seconds. Nope, he's going to stay right here. Sorry for the pump fake, guys. I'm going to try to sneak away a quick break, but he is now back up on his feet. And with that, both teams kind of taking the free timeout. As Linkert being helped to the sidelines. And frankly, almost every injury we've seen in this game today has been of that variety. Somebody blocking and kind of getting rolled up on from behind. Linkert, a redshirt junior from Dayton, Ohio, from Centerville High School. Now the clock will roll with 6.5 to play here in the 3rd quarter. No score yet here in the 2nd half. And play isn't over yet. Nobody made contact. Johnson, the ball carrier here. And again, we joke about the difference in high school and college rules. And
yeah, that's one I believe in right there.
Guys jumped, but nobody made contact.
That's okay. So. Yeah, that was like a defense in motion.
Yep.
Jump to cover 3 and
they reset in time. Johnson, a senior, get a little more of a look here in the second half. Kind of scanning Blackman to see if he's over on the sideline still.
He's taking some hits, running a tough game.
Fake the handoff. Johnson on the slant, and Thomas just dropped it. That would have been a first down and then some. That was a pretty play designed by Tiffin. Just Thomas couldn't hang on to it.
That's kind of been the story of the day for these guys. Just, mistake away from really catching their stride and playing the kind of football they anticipate.
So we get on third down. The run was successful last time. This time, Truman was wise to it. Ross, the last to get up off the pile. And I would think here, I'm not sure the field goal does you much good this late in the third quarter. Again, wins at your back, but you need to keep the drive going. It's exactly what Tiffin's going to go for. So a loss on the play of 2 sets up 4th down and 8, and the Dragons will keep their offense on the field. Tiffin went for it once in the opening quarter of the game and got stuffed. 4th down at the 34-yard line then. Play clock is at 9. This may be a timeout here. Let's see. Because they're just getting into formation at 4, at 3, at 2, at 1. Timeout, Tiffin. Let's step aside. 4th down, 4:41 to play, third quarter. Song remains the same. Truman 16, Tiffin 3. We're back in 30 seconds. You're watching on the ISC Sports Network. Fourth down and 8, Joe. What is your play call here if you're Tiffin?
You know what? I say they came out last set with no backs. I would do the same thing you did on this last third down when you need it. Run the football, because they're tying. They're in their sprinter stance. They're going to rush you hard. Run the football.
This is a Truman team that outscored their last 3 foes 141-10. They're playing like that today, at least on the defensive end of things.
They're widening out. They're coming after it right now.
Isolated coverage on Linkert, bottom of the screen.
Here they go.
Johnson throws, catch made, first down. Grab is made at about the 11-yard line. That's Ethan Holbrook that makes the grab. When the blitz didn't get there,
good job.
Tiffin had an open man and pick up a gain of 18 yards.
Good job on their execution. Held him out just long enough. That's really one of the few passes where we've seen him really step into it.
Johnson on the quick hitter.
There we go.
That's Will makes the grab. Now you see Tiffin trying to pick up their side. At 9, and it's second down. Bow formation here. Bring in Cedric Anton as well. Cedric a transfer from Eastern Michigan, but a neighbor playing college football. Clock rolls past the 4-minute mark here in the quarter. Has to be a touchdown here. Play clock at 7. On the handoff, Blackman. I think he has the first down. Obviously not a touchdown, but I think that's enough to move the chain, set up 1st and goal. And that'll be the case. Or is it? No, 3rd down.
Yes, sir.
My apologies.
Inches.
No.
Inches.
I'm not sure the play design changes at all here for Tiffin.
Ball marked short of the yard line again. That does bring up 3rd down.
Get on the handoff. Great job to fight off some tacklers and keep the play going. But now the pitch. That's a live football. And it literally went from bad to worse for Tiffin. Blackman trying to get rid of the football, knowing that he was in a tough way. Tried to make the pitch to the quarterback in Johnson. Truman picks it up. And the team's now even on turnovers. And in a drive that felt like they were inches away from scoring, the scoreboard remains unchanged.
Yeah, major missed opportunity. What are we going to call this?
Well, I almost wonder if the pitch from the running back to the quarterback was a kind of almost like a forward pass, so to speak. But I think that obviously you would decline any sort of penalty in that scenario.
Right.
If you're Truman, if you're given the opportunity. And no flag is going to be thrown. It's simply going to be Truman football at the 13-yard line. Take a look here. So Shane Johnson, who has been all over the field today for Truman. Hand off to Cook. So 2 drives, neither of which have resulted in points, but have taken up a lot of time off the clock. And because Tiffin had to burn a timeout to discuss that 4th down call, now they can stop it just twice, plus the quarterback, plus the 2-minute timeout. But expect to see a lot of what you just saw, handing the ball to Denham Cook the rest of the way for Truman.
And there's no reason to go away from that. Huge missed opportunity there by Tiffin. Just unable, for most part, unable to really get their feet on the ground and play the kind of football that we know they can play.
Truman trying to hold an opponent in single digits for a 4th consecutive game. Picked off. Truman gives it right back. And guess who? Malik Baker makes the grab for Tiffin.
What was that saying you said earlier in the day?
Don't get bored with success.
Yeah. Now they got new life and they're back in it. Let's see if they can execute this drive. And I'm sure that's exactly what Coach is saying right now. Settle in, play some football, do your job, and let's cash this in.
Take a look at the play. You can just put too much on it. And Baker gets the feet down. Baker, 10 first-half tackles. Now makes the interception. That is the 5th turnover of the game. It is the 3rd of the quarter between the two teams. Five-man rush. Johnson, just right idea. Just threw that one at the feet of his running back. Incomplete pass. Well, clearly this has to be won by the defense of these two teams.
Just coming after him. They're trying to slow him down. The screen was that was the intent. Just couldn't get it off. Give credit to that defense. Playing hard, they're in the right spots, and they keep coming after you.
Those last 3 games of the regular season, Truman beat Lincoln 52-7, beat William Jewell 34-0, beat Southwest Baptist 55-3. None of those 3 teams are as good as this Tiffin team.
Right.
That they're holding to 3 points currently. On the handoff, Johnson. Johnson picks up 5. Tackle made by Connor Baxley, one of the numerous senior starters on this Truman defense. Both Jackson and Ben Miller. Again, Jake McCollum is not here today. Ulysses Ross, Shane Johnson, Brock Jones, Peyton Carr, Connor Baxley. This is a defense that next year look a lot different for Truman. But they've looked great today. 3rd down and 5. Again, handoff to Johnson. Off left tackle. Ross slows him down. Closser helps take him down. It's to the 18-yard line, 4th down. And again, going for it will be Tiffin.
Truman's got the number right now. Dropped the safety right in the perfect spot to stop that play. What do you got, Coach?
It's a good question.
I don't know. Throw that out.
I mean, that isolation route to number 1 who's got more than 70 catches in the season looks pretty good.
Yeah, you got to. We're not doing it, though.
He's got on a crosser. Throws in a flat. Catch is made. And that's good for a first down. Now, we've got some fans below us that have said, hey, he's out of bounds. I think the receiver might have stepped out of bounds before he caught it. But we have that luxury to look at that, and officials don't. That'll be a first down inside of the 10-yard line.
All right. We saw them come through when they needed to, and that's been rare. Let's see if we can punch it in here.
Second, fourth down conversion of the quarter. Again, here comes pressure, and just sling it away. Yep, nobody was going to catch that one. That was Carmack and Ben Miller, both back to make the play. Johnson now 16 for 28, 134 yards.
And this D-line is owning the day right now.
And that is the end of the third quarter. We'll flip ends of the field. The score remains Truman 16, Tiffin 3. A quarter left to go in each of these two teams' football seasons. We're back in 30 seconds on the ISC Sports Network.
Ready for an unforgettable adventure? Lake Michigan's South Shore is calling. No matter the season, the Indiana Dunes offer a natural playground where you can roam miles of scenic hiking and biking trails, build amazing sandcastles on sun-kissed beaches, or set off on an exciting wildlife treasure hunt. The South Shore is alive with quirky festivals, thrilling attractions, and family-friendly breweries and wineries just outside of Chicago. From winter sledding to summer splashing, the South Shore is your playground for unforgettable memories. Learn more at alongthesouthshore.com.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching on the ISC Sports Network. Alongside Joe Polizzi, Greg Rakestraw with you. Ball at the 9-yard line. Tiffin's been knocking the door several times, but have only resulted in one field goal in this game. We get to the final 50 minutes of the football season for each of these two teams. Truman trying to claim the America's Crossroads Bowl championship for a fourth time in as many trips to the Brickyard.
This is their home, they think.
The purple suits them here at the home of the Hobart Brickies.
And they have proven that till this point. It's time for Tiffin now. Step up and turn this into a football game.
Second down and goal from the 7-yard line. On the handoff, it's Blackman. Bounces it outside for the pylon, scores, touchdown. Tiffin's in the end zone for the first time today.
Nice. Individual effort, great feet, good instincts. All right now.
It was a one-point game when these two teams played in this game 2 years ago. For Blackman, his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. And these teams played 3 times over the course of 2 years, and the widest margin was 3 points. The extra point try by Rudolph is good. So, 14:54 to play. We'll step away for 30 seconds. Score is now 16-10. Truman leading Tiffin on the ISC Sports Network.
Get ready to rock. The Hobart Art Theater is your ultimate destination for live music, comedy, and community events right here in Northwest Indiana. Feel the energy as national and local bands take the stage, setting the tone for a rockin' evening. And if you're craving some laughs, we've got you covered with stand-up comedy guaranteed to have you rolling in the aisles. So grab your crew, grab a drink, and get ready for a night of fun. To view an upcoming schedule of events, visit brickartlive.com.
So, 16-10, finally the breakthrough moment for Tiffin. Finally able to cash in off of a Truman turnover.
Beautiful individual effort. Blackman took it upon himself, put some moves on, turned on the Jets, got in there.
Rudolph just tops this one, again, into that win. There's been some solid kick returns for Truman as well. Up backfield's that one for Truman. That is Gerard Gruey So at the 36-yard line is where this drive will start for Truman. And Cook, 16 carries, 113 yards. 29 rushing plays in total for Truman State. On the handoff, Cook makes a defender miss, and even when that was a play that was really more on the running back and the blockers, he picks up 4 yards.
Nice job. He's a hard back to hit, to get a good hit on. He kind of bobs and weaves like a Mike Tyson would, and it's been so effective. He's, almost 120 for today.
Came in with just shy of 1,000 yards rushing on the season. This Truman team lost their first 3 games of the year to Findlay, who Tiffin beat in the last game of the year, but then to UIndy and Saginaw Valley.
Okay.
And that UIndy game in week 2 really was the GLVC championship in the first conference game of the season. Cook just pushes the pile forward, picks up 3, and sets up 3rd down. The only loss since those first 3 games for Truman was the team that we saw last year in this bowl game, McKendree, who beat Truman 28-21. Truman finished tied for second in the GLVC with the Peacocks of Upper Iowa. But because Truman went to Upper Iowa and won 26-23 back in October, they won the tiebreaker and elected to play in the bowl game. And Truman will take as much time off the clock here as possible. Quick formation. Toss play. Cook finds a seam, has the first down. You know, you referenced some blocking schemes that were, dating back a few years. That's like borderline like single wing football they just run. It's still effective.
You know what? I saw that same thing on a 1865 video where you hop into position and it looked just like that. Just like that old school. But they blocked so well, and they did it again that time, and you can't fault them for going back to it.
First downs almost mirror the score in this game. 17 of those for the Bulldogs, just 10 for the Dragons. Out to Overton. Overton's got blockers. Still going. And finally knocked down at about the 31-yard line. Kevin Hornbeek down the field, made the tackle. Overton gets his second grab of the game in this one for positive yardage for a first down.
Well, you nailed it perfectly. Excellent perimeter blocking out there. Something you don't see very often, but that was perfectly laid out there. And good use of the short passing game to complement how you're running the football.
Overton picks up 20. 2 catches on 2 targets. And play clock is on your screen at 5. On the handoff, Cook. And Cook will pick up 3. And the main goal for Truman right now, just keep that clock moving. Again, would they love to have a touchdown? Absolutely. But with a win at their back, they will take 3 if they can get it and make it a 2-score game. Kicking game's been a bit of an adventure for them. A blocked extra point and a missed field goal late in the second quarter. That field goal was into the wind. And that is a free play, or at least it should be. This will be a free 5 yards for Truman. And what was second down and 7 will become second down and 2.
Yeah, it's this point of the game. You just stay poised. You do what you need to do. You recognize your assignments and you execute. And you get yourself a W.
4th penalty of the game against the Dragons, totaling 33 yards. Play clock is at 5. Cook First down. Nothing flashy, just effective. This is a game that would have worked in the Bricky Bowl. That is the old stadium in town that the high school used to play at. That's stuff of legends. This is the Brick Yard. Gone are the days of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's 3 yards and rubber pellets. But that's what Truman is doing right now.
And he just flung his body in there. What an effort here. He comes off hobbling, but he'll go right back in there. But he played a whale of a football game.
And again, Tiffin is trying to time the snap, but they can just look at the play clock because Truman's going to try to whittle it down every snap. Hare will keep. And Hare, again, he'll just get 4 yards, and Cook will hobble his way back on the field.
Here he comes.
Again, your next football practice is about 3 or 4 months from now. You got a little time. You'll spend some time in the weight room once you get back from Christmas break, but
yeah, he'll jump in the ice bath and be all good to go.
And I asked the Truman coach, I said, how long of a drive is it from Kirksville, Missouri? They said about 6.5 hours.
Okay.
He'll have 6 hours on the way home, a chance to ice that down.
Box lunch, a couple good movies, and a great understanding that you played your tail off.
And a timeout going to be taken by Truman. We'll step aside as well. We're down to 9:16 left to go in this bowl game. Truman 16 and Tiffin 10. Back in 30 seconds. You're watching on ISC.
Ready for an unforgettable adventure? Lake Michigan's South Shore is calling. No matter the season, the Indiana Dunes offer a natural playground where you can roam miles of scenic hiking and biking trails, build amazing sandcastles on sun-kissed beaches, or set off on an exciting wildlife treasure hunt. The South Shore is alive with quirky festivals, thrilling attractions, and family-friendly breweries and wineries just outside of Chicago. From winter sledding to summer splashing, the South Shore is your playground for unforgettable memories. Learn more at alongthesouthshore.com.
So the Tiffin fans that have made the trip from Northwest Ohio, or maybe some closer, Truman fans have had a good turnout today, and frankly, they're used to playing in this game. They're used to making this trip at this point. Tiffin here for a second time in 3 years. Truman here for a fourth time in the last 5.
I think it's great. I think you make it part of your tradition. It's going to be tough to topple Indy and get to that national tournament. So this is a tremendous opportunity to celebrate a great year.
Handoff goes to Cook. And Cook will be about a yard short. I don't think it's going to take long to signal the play call in. I think I know what's coming.
Something to do with Cook?
Good chance.
Okay.
A couple of extra tight ends will come in here.
You know, I wondered coming into this game if the speed of Tiffin was going to be too much. I discounted the fact that that offensive line is so disciplined, and they got a poised quarterback, and they're just executing their way to a bowl victory at this point.
Extra H back in here. Toss play Cook, and this one finally did not work.
Yeah, get caught from behind.
Yeah, Tiffin had the penetration that time. And it was Walton that made yet another tackle for loss. And again, Truman says, all right, we'll take the 3. And by the time this ball is snapped, we'll be down to about 7.5 minutes left to go in the game. So again, Calvo Russo has made one, missed one, and had an extra point blocked. The one he made was going in this exact direction. And this is from 31 yards out. And the kick is good. 2-score game. Calvo Russo has connected. So 19-10 now with 7:48 to play. So a great penetration off the edge. Almost getting home was Dennis Crawford for Tiffin. But Calvo Russo got it to go.
Well played. And take a look at that sideline. Tell me this game doesn't mean anything to this bunch.
So 19-10 is the score. Tiffin has been largely pass first and run second. Can you still run the ball in this scenario in a 2-score game with 7:48 to go?
At this point, yes, you can. I just don't know that that's their intent. I think they want to ride this big, tall quarterback, and he's got to get his feet on the ground, and maybe he can make it happen. But to this point, he has been a little bit flustered in his execution.
So Calvaruso again on to boot the ball away. And with the wind behind him, he'll go for the distance, and no problem. It's it off the B in Hobart on what is the north end zone here.
That's just a fun name for you to say, isn't it?
Well, it's one of those names that when you grow up in Indiana and you go to college or you go to camp with somebody from the region, you hear Hobart so often, and it takes about a half a millisecond for somebody to go, no. Hobart is how you say it.
There we go. Absolutely.
My guess is you've recruited just a few brickies in your days as the head coach at the University of Indianapolis.
Absolutely. I've seen that saying, once a brickie.
Always a brickie. Yep.
I've seen that once or twice.
Blitz coming. Catch made.
Good.
And right around the first down marker, that's Ethan Holbrook.
Good execution. Good possession.
Holbrook makes his third catch of the day. Holbrook had 25 catches in the season coming in. Sophomore from Avon, Ohio. Deemed to be a yard short, 2nd down and 1. Little jump ball here that Linkart made the nope, did not hang on to it. Ball hit the turf. Kind of a free play there on 2nd and 1, and honestly, the entire field is 4-down territory here. So it's 3rd down and a yard. Johnson now 17 of 30. 143 yards passing, no touchdowns. For the first team all GMAC quarterback. It's Blackman. Hit. Extra effort, but doesn't get there. Fry got there first. 4th and a yard. And how about the job the quote-unquote backup linebacker has done today?
Beautiful job coming off that corner and squeezing it down. It looked for a minute like he was going to pop it, but a flash came from the outside.
Well, 2 4th down conversions in the 3rd quarter for Tiffin. They need one here to keep their chances going. Cowbells are ringing from the Truman fans. Catch made, 1st down. Great job to throw that right where that vacating linebacker had blitzed from. Linkart makes the grab.
Exactly. He didn't have a blink of time to get rid of that football. Perfect execution.
Needed 1 and got 9. Out in the flat, catch made, and Blackman will step out of bounds. He'll pick up, call it 4, maybe 5. And again, the clock will reset once the ball is ready for play. With 6:26 left to go in this one. Trying to make this another 1-score game between these two teams. Johnson throws it in. Flag is down, 2 of them. In fact, it's picked off by Shane Johnson. Johnson down the sidelines. It is a touchdown for now. I think it might be offsetting penalties. I think the flag near side might be OPI, but the flag in the middle of the field I think might actually bring this back. Let's see. Eligible man downfield. You'll wave that one off. Are they both eligible man downfield? Yes, touchdown. So both officials saw the same flag. Touchdown, Truman. Pick 6 for Johnson. Let's take a look. Johnson brings that back 58 yards down the sidelines.
Right place at the right time. Good job breaking on the throw and turning on the Jets.
So Johnson, senior from Buffalo Grove, Illinois. I'm sure he's playing for some friends and family here.
Absolutely.
And still a 2-score game, even if you connect on the extra point. The odds keep getting stacked a little bit further against the Dragons today. Calvarusso's kick is good. And we will keep it right here. His Tiffin team went 7-2 in GMAC play. Finished 8-3. Both Ashland and Findlay each won 9 games during the course of the regular season.
And Johnson came into this game hitting over 68% of his passes. And today he just has been off stride. There's no question he's been getting heat on each and every opportunity, but he just has not been able to get in the rhythm of where he needs to be. And that certainly, he hung that last one out there. Whoa, that's going to be a tough one to ride home with.
That is the second interception return of the season for Truman. Had one against William Jewell in week 10 of the regular season.
Hey, you got time. Let's go, boys.
A little more cloud starting to file in. Shadow starting to cover the field as well. Returnable from the 5-yard line. And to just past the 25-yard line.
The ball was returned by number 6, Javier Wills.
Just one touchdown happened on the first play of the fourth quarter. Head coach Brett Atkins' team at Tiffin, his first year as the man in charge of the Tiffin program. Spent time at Saginaw Valley, Indiana Wesleyan, Akron, and his alma mater, Mount Union. His Saginaw Valley team played at Truman a season ago. Johnson dropped. Sack. And a second sack of the game for Tucker McDowell. And on a defense that has a lot of seniors, he's just a freshman.
Is that right? Way to come in off that corner. Good pressure. It's been a problem all day. Pass pro for the Dragons. These guys are not the fastest of defensive linemen, but they sure do come hard.
Johnson throws the home run ball, and Shane Johnson nearly had his second interception in as many drives. Wills could not hang on to it, and it's third down.
That was actually the receiver becoming the DB there.
Correct.
To break it up. But, yeah, taking some risk here.
The Tiffin team went 8-3. Their losses, Lenore Ryan out of North Carolina, Ashland, and at Hillsdale. They were unbeaten at home this season for the Dragons. Third down and 20. Trying to set up a screen. Good coverage by Truman. Peyton Carr, senior from Columbia, Missouri. And again, it's 4th and a ways, but frankly, punting doesn't do you much good here.
No, I'm trying to get the number. Somebody dropped that wide out. I'm thinking 21. We're not going to see it.
Got to get the football to the 36-yard line. 4th and 16. Less than 5 to play. Johnson throws. Holbrook. It's Carr. Couldn't make the tackle, but he holds up the receiver long enough. It's just going to be a gain of 4, and Truman will take over at the 24-yard line.
In the right spots, playing the football, and they have got an edge on their energy level. They just love that lamp, don't they?
Well, Steve Carell was famous for saying, "I love lamp." Truman, clearly of a similar idea. Getting an end zone here is great. You're really thinking first down, keep the clock running here if you're Truman.
But you're not going to tell this number 7 to back off.
No. You're going to hand him the ball and see what happens. And he pinballs off a couple of more defenders as he'll pick up 6 yards. Cook now 24 carries, 140 yards. There will be post-game presentations for the winning team, players of the game as well. I'm sure Cook will be a part of that. We'll have the leg lamp trophy that goes to the winning conference. Jim Nemovich will be taking that back to Indianapolis with him.
Carry made again by number 7, Denham Cook. Tackle was made by number 31, Bubba Bangura.
So on the game, Bangura makes the tackle. They're going to mark the ball just shy of the line to gain, so 3rd down and inches.
15-yard line, and it'll bring up 2nd, check that 3rd, and
Offensive player of the game. Shane Johnson will be the defensive player of the game, both for Truman. That's 7 and 26.
Okay.
So 3rd down and short.
Cook's got another year, doesn't he?
Cook is just a junior. Johnson, one of the many seniors playing their last game in a Truman uniform, and a timeout going to be called by Tiffin. And we'll keep it here with 2:57. We're going to hold our last timeout for the 2-minute timeout that is coming up in a matter of moments. Both these teams going to finish the season at 8-4. And again, now the focus becomes finals. Going home and spending time with your family, and then you get back to campus at some point in time in mid-January, and all of a sudden, you're living in the weight room for the next couple of months before spring ball begins for each of these two teams.
Yeah, and it sure does feel good doing all those things after a bowl victory in a good year. They lost their first 3, and those were formidable opponents. Saginaw, tough in the GLIAC. Indy, playoff bound. And then Tiffin got beat by who's the school in Ohio that got him?
Ashland.
Ashland, another playoff team.
Hand off to Cook, first down. Got about 3 on the play. And the chains will reset yet again. Let's thank the entirety of our ISC Sports Network crew: Jordan Shue, Dennis Glover, Tajadine Gordon, Dalton Cox, Bill Law, Eldon Wheeler, and Dave Marin. Our buddy Dave that lives in Indianapolis, has worked in Indy media forever, but calls this part of the world home, so it's a chance to pick up a paycheck and come see some friends and family for the weekend.
Nice.
Dave, you could be with us on the broadcast today. I think I said 17-yard line. My apologies. Ball at the 12-yard line. .310 yards of total offense for Truman. Tiffin's been held to 177. And that should take us to the 2-minute timeout. We will step aside. We are back in 30 seconds, and Truman is counting it down to, well, they'll be the America's Crossroads Bowl champions yet again. Lead at 26-10 on the ISC Sports Network.
Get ready to rock. The Hobart Art Theater is your ultimate destination for live music, comedy, and community events right here in Northwest Indiana. Feel the energy as national and local bands take the stage, setting the tone for a rockin' evening. And if you're craving some laughs, we've got you covered with stand-up comedy guaranteed to have you rolling in the aisles. So grab your crew, grab a drink, and get ready for a night of fun. To view an upcoming schedule of events, visit brickartlive.com.
We want to make sure we thank Jimmy Nelson, the good folks, the Greater South Shore, the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority. Honored to be here to cover this game. We've done so every time it's been played. And when we have been here at Hobart, it is the team that is on your screen that has taken home the championship.
Quite an accomplishment, but there's no coincidence. It's a well-coached, solid football team that plays physical in December when that's what it takes.
Hand off to Cook. And Cook will pick up 3 more yards. I want to thank Kevin White from the Sports Information Office at Truman. Shane O'Donnell, his counterpart for Tiffin. I want to thank them for their assistance on the broadcast today. You have an injured player, and it's Walton, and that kid has played with clearly a busted hand or wrist, and he's hobbled off and on the field a couple of times. It's been a great year for him, and again, this is a chance for him to play in front of friends and family. As Walton has made his way to the sideline, now the Truman offense will be brought back on. And yes, welcome to the time of year. It is 3:42 local time. We had to turn the lights on here at the Brickyard. And because that's an injury timeout, that will count as the 3rd and final timeout for Tiffin. We will stay with you briefly in terms of the postgame show. There will be an award for the offensive player of the game, the defensive player of the game, as well as the championship trophy that goes to Tiffin, and the often talked about leg lamp. We'll go to the GLVC offices at the conclusion of this game.
It's a nice little tradition they've got going here at Truman.
Truman has run the ball 42 times in this game. Their season high for those 45. Cook will finish shy of his season high in terms of yards. His high in terms of carries is today. He had 22 against Quincy in October. He's got 28 so far in this game. His season high, 182. He won't get there. He's at 149. Cook gets it again, plows forward, and he'll pick up a gain of 3, and I would imagine that Truman will have him run it again. Well, that Tiffin is out of timeouts, and if he were to get a first down and not a touchdown, now you're talking about just simply victory formation, and business has come to its conclusion. Now, special teams getting together here. They may call a timeout and bring the field goal unit on. We'll see how they handle it. I think that's what's going to happen.
Cook wanted one more carry.
I was thinking one more touchdown, too.
One more carry. But you got to love what took place. Fun watching him.
In this second half, no offensive touchdowns yet for Truman. A field goal and a pick 6. Cal Russo will come on for one more try to make it a 3-score game with 57 ticks of the clock left to go.
Great year for Tiffin. They played some good football. We're really unable to get it together today. We saw flashes of it. They do have a defense that runs very, very well, but what a great year.
Cal Russo looking to make his 3rd of the day. This one just 23 yards out. And got it again. I'm not sure how much doubt there was left in this one, but that largely ends it. For Cal Russo, it's the most field goals he has made in a game this season. He made 2 each against UIndy, Upper Iowa, Missouri S&T, and William Jewell. He'll finish the year with 13 makes on 3s. guys got to camp in early August. Here we are in early December in the season. 55 seconds away from being in the past tense for both these two teams.
And on Monday afternoon, they're going to wonder, what am I supposed to do now?
That's right. What now? Returned by Wills from just inside the 5-yard line. One more chance to pop the pads for Brock Jones. We'll make sure players separate here. Jones, one of those many seniors talked about defensively.
You got to like it, though. Kickoff, the game in hand. End of the season, you're going into the winter, and those guys still came screaming down that field like they were on fire. That says a lot about your program. Congratulations to Truman. Super job. First-year coach. Excellent job.
Technically still the interim coach, but hopefully that title gets lifted very soon. On the handoff, that's Johnson. You love that. That's a senior. You give at least one more carry to. And Tiffin does not have to snap it again if they don't want to. They might, but do not have to. By the way, the other Division II games taking place today, all in the quarterfinals. Slippery Rock beats Cal PA 31-13. Ferris State over Harding 41-7. Valdosta State beats Virginia Union 49-14. Bemidji State leads Minnesota State 23-14. That is late third quarter. And Tiffin says that's enough. For a fourth time, Truman has won the America's Crossroads Bowl. Final score in this one, 29-10. Well, in terms of some of the final numbers on this one, Dylan Hare, 14 for 8, 125 yards. Alex Johnson for Tiffin, 21 for 30, 664 yards. There was not a passing touchdown thrown in today's game. As a team, Tiffin, again, you mix in sack yardage here too, but Tiffin had 18 total yards rushing in today's game. Now you take away quarterback losses. 60 yards rushing for Blackman and Johnson combined on 20 carries. Denham Cook, I would think a shoo-in for the offensive player of the game. 29 carries, 152 yards. As a team, Truman State, 43 carries, 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wills, 5 catches for 43. Thomas, 5 for 27. Did not have a catch in the second half. Holbrook, 4 catches for 35 yards. For Truman State, Chris Kerr led him with 6 catches for 46 yards. Elijah Stevens, 3 catches for 23 yards. Some team numbers, Tiffin held to under 200 yards of offense, 182 to be precise. Truman finishes with 316 yards of offense. Time of possession, a very Truman stat, 35-43. The Bulldogs had the football in today's game. From a tackle standpoint, Bangura had 14 for Tiffin. Baker, 11 plus interception. Tuame had 10. And for Truman, Shane Johnson, 9 tackles, but also a pick 6. Ulysses Ross had 8. Eli Fry, 6. And Tucker McDowell had 5 tackles, and the freshman a part of 2.5 sacks in today's game. Joe, what stands out to you about this one?
Well, just the fact that it doesn't matter on which level of football you play. When you're playing after Thanksgiving, it's about running the ball and stopping the run consistently, and that was the whole story today. Tiffin, an outstanding football team, but they came in wanting to throw that football around, and it just doesn't fit in this type of climate, whereas Truman blocked it well, ran hard, and eliminated enough mistakes to really to carry home that lamp.
Tiffin heading towards the locker room. Now time to present the post-game awards.
Where members of the America's Crossroads Bowl Game Committee, along with GLBC Commissioner
Both commissioners, Jim Namovich and Tommy Dager.
Dager will participate in this afternoon's awards presentation.
Jimmy Nelson from the Greater South Shore down there as well.
Awards. The 2024 America's Crossroads Bowl Offensive Player of the Game Award is presented to number 7, the running back, Denham Cook.
So again, no doubt about that. 29 carries, 152 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His season high for
and now the
carries.
2024 America's Crossroads Bowl
The defensive player of the year belongs to
presented to number 26, the DB, Shane Johnson.
So St. John's, you get a pick 6. Amazing how that works.
Isn't that something?
I think it's a house call. Second of the year for Truman State.
They played hard, and it's fun to watch how excited the rest of the team is for those guys' success. A good culture, great program, very, very, very. They got a lot to be proud of today.
Now we've got the team trophy to be presented as well. So that team trophy to be handed out momentarily. The leg lamp going to the conference office as well.
Join us in saluting the champions of the 2024 America's Crossroads Bowl Game, the Truman State Bulldogs. With Coach Kellen Nesbitt and the
Congratulations, guys. Joe, your final thoughts on this one?
Well earned. They played well. They played the game the way it was meant to be. Coached hard. Just a great example of Division II football. And I'm just happy to be a part of it today. Thanks, Greg.
It's great to have you back. Again, congratulations to Truman State and to Tiffin on great seasons to make it this far. That'll do it for our broadcast of today's America's Crossroads Bowl. Look forward to being back here some 364 days from now. Thanks for coming to Northwest Indiana and being a part of the region and the great football tradition of this part of the world. For Joe Polizzi and our entire ISC Sports Network team, this is Greg Rakestraw. Good night and happy holidays. Your winners today, Truman. 29 to number Tiffin. Goodbye from the America's Crossroads Bowl and ISC.
Ready for an unforgettable